Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Let's welcome our friends on Facebook. Let's wave to them. Hello. Hello. Let's smile more and tell them how excited we are to be here. Hello. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to History Makers Training, January 2018. We are here live at DSA resident in Kyiv, Ukraine. History Makers Training. I am the coordinator. My name is Baboshia. Good morning. We are about to start the first section of today, day 3 of History Makers Training. And the topic has been law and order. Law and order. I'm sure you have heard what law and order is. You've read it. You've listened even somehow. But Dr. Sunday Adelaja has a whole different view of what law and order is. And this time around, he is not just addressing it as individually, but even as a nationwide topic. So you don't want to miss that. Please go invite your friends, your family, even strangers. Yes, strangers, to come join us. Let's find out together what law and order is. Let's find out together how to transform a nation through law and order. So I am excited, and I believe that this is an exciting topic, and it's going to be exciting this morning. So let's welcome DSA. Before we start today's section, welcome, Pastor.
Bless you. Okay. Here we go again. We don't have our reader today. All right, don't worry. Put off the light. Put on the Okay, here we go. Today's topic is order. It's okay. Order, the proper arrangement of things. I want you to look at this. You don't want, you made it smaller, eh? Yesterday it was wider. Okay. Can they see this wardrobe very well?
Yes.
Okay. See the ladies' shoes? See the way everything is neatly arranged. Maybe because I'm a village boy. For me, I only discovered how to do this when I came to Europe. When I was back in Nigeria, nobody was doing much of this. Is it on? We used to hang, but not neatly, not closely as neat as this. Okay. Genesis 1, 3 to 10. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. You had some understanding from this yesterday, but you are going to have more today. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together to one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called Easy. And God saw that it was good. Okay, I think it will be dark there on you, right? After God, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After God finished, I didn't lose out on anything. Yeah? Is there anything I'm not saying? In the page. You check the computer. Okay. After God finished, light, knowledge, illumination, wisdom. No. Let's go back. So what we see here is that there was darkness, then God said, let there be light, and there was light. So what is that light? Light, okay, let me start with this. Okay. Now, let's start the story of Genesis again. In Genesis, everything was darkness. Darkness without form, and it was void, and it was without form. How does God deal with hopeless situation? This passage is giving us insight into how God deals with hopeless situations. And what we see in this case is that, let it be. Huh?
She wants to pick something.
Okay. So what we see in this case is that darkness, no shape, no form, darkness. What did God do? God came up with a solution. And his solution was one word: light. Now, but how does that, all of us know that one, right? We know that aspect of things. But how does that relate to me and you? What does that mean? That talks about how I and you should deal with hopeless situations. How? The same way God dealt with it. And the way he dealt with it is this: he applied the principle of light. That means when I and you are faced with any situation, before we could attempt to do anything at all, we need to apply the same principle of light. What does that mean for me? It means when I get to Nigeria, or if I want to go to Nigeria, I must look for light. If I want to resolve the problem of Nigeria, political problem, corruption problem, what I need is the same thing God did: light. So what is light? Now open the slide for me, please. So what do I look for? Light. There is light now. You mean electricity? No, not electricity. So what is that talking about? What do I look for if I want to counter and resolve every situation that I get to? Let's say you want to marry. You need light. Let's say you want to have children. It's the same thing. You need light. Let's say you want to travel to another country. You need to seek light. Let's say you want to build a big business. The same thing. You need to do what God did. Start with light. Let's say you want to build a company. The same thing. You need to start with what God started with. If you want to do anything that is supposed to have success in the long run, everything has to be begun with light. Light must stand at the root and beginning of all things. So what is light? That's what we see here. So what is light? Look what light is. This is light. So what is it? Light means knowledge. Every enterprise must be started with knowledge and by knowledge. Light equals knowledge. Light in Greek is the same word as knowledge. So light equals knowledge. Light equals illumination. Light equals wisdom. Now, what are we talking about? That means if I want to marry, I first of all sit down. I don't first of all look for a girl. I first of all sit down and look for knowledge and look for illumination. The same thing if I want to marry as a lady, if I want to get a husband. I first of all say, oh, I'm ready for a husband. I don't begin to look for people in trousers. No, or people in pants. No, you go and look for books that make you get ready and make order as to what you want to get through illumination in your head and in your mind. You fill yourself with light, illumination, knowledge, and wisdom. Just let's say I want to go to Africa. I must fill myself with knowledge about what is happening there. And be able to know how to, because what is knowledge? What is light? Light is what allows you to see. What was darkness? In darkness, you don't see anything. What is light? Light makes you to see. If I tell you now, close your eyes and run from here to the end over there with eyes closed. Who wants to do that? That is hazardous. You want to kill yourself. Because you are going to have accident before you run there, just 50 meters or 30 meters. But when you open your eyes, you know what to avoid. That's what light does for you. Light makes you to see where forms are, where structures are, where inhibitions are, where hindrances are, where challenges are. But to do something without light or without knowledge, illumination, and wisdom is to attempt to do something with eyes closed in darkness. For example, if you want to come to Ukraine, to travel to come to Ukraine, and you didn't study about history, you didn't study about anything about the country, about the school, about anything, you are coming to darkness. You are just groping. It's like you are walking into darkness. It's not wise like that. Wisdom demands that you go ahead and study about that country where you want to go and live in the next 6 years of your life. If you want to go with me to Nigeria, get to watch some documentaries, some videos, or something, read some books about Nigeria. That's why I'm writing books about Nigeria. Because I'm going there. Everything that will be successful must start with good amount, sound amount of light, knowledge, illumination, wisdom. Now, but that's just the beginning. That is only the start. That's not the end. That's not even the middle. That's just beginning. So you only start with knowledge. Now, and light. Let me now say something else. Let's go back to the title of this message. The title of this message is Order, the Proper Arrangement of Things. Now, listen closely. The definition of order is the proper arrangement of things, by the way. Order is defined as the proper arrangement of things. That is order. Can you see order here? Proper arrangement of things. So the definition of order is proper arrangement of things. Now, but why did I start with Genesis? And why did I start with light? The reason I started with that is that order is not possible where there is no light. For example, look at this diagram here. Proper arrangement of things. Supposing it's dark. Supposing there is no light in that house. You will not even see the wardrobe. Talk less of properly arranging things. This proper arrangement of things you see here is only possible because there was what? Light. So you see where the levels are. You see where the rails are. You see where the hangers. You know where to put what, because there is light. That is the very elementary condition for order. Order is not possible where there is no light. But when I talk about light, I'm not talking about light like this only. In this case, there are two forms and two levels of light that is needed for this to be possible. And I think maybe I will need you people to put on. If it, this one, yeah, put this one on. Yes. Sorry. This one here is only possible as a result of one, the physical light. Physical light is necessary so that you'll be able to see where everything is, where the rails, where the levels, where the stores, and things like that. All right? But physical light is the lesser light that we are talking about here. That is not a big deal. Physical light is the weak light. It is secondary light. So what is the primary light we are talking about? We are talking about the inner light. The light of the mind. That is what we see here as, that is what we see here as illumination. That is the light of the mind. That is what we see here as knowledge and as wisdom. So light, the greater light, is in form of knowledge, illumination, and wisdom. Let's go back. But this light here that you just needed to see something physical is secondary, it's nothing. So when Nigerians are fuming and complaining about electricity, as vital as electricity is, it's only secondary light. Oh. It's not our biggest problem. Because electricity, physical light, is subject, physical light, electricity, is subject only to the person that is having an enlightened mind. So electricity is a result of somebody's enlightened mind. So when we are talking about electricity, you know what is making us to shout and fume about electricity is because of our consumer's mindset. Because we know that electricity is good, we can use it to do consumer's mindset. But I don't want to look for electricity. I don't want to cry for electricity. I'm not even talking about, I'm not making a big deal about electricity when I go to Nigeria. Because I am making a big deal about the greater light. You see, when God was talking in Genesis, he talked about the great light, the greater light, and the lesser light. Now, this is what I'm talking about here. The greater light is the one inside. That is the one I'm bothered with. And that's the one I'm concerned with. And that's why I'm writing all these books. All these books here is talking about the greater light. Because if your mind and a society is enlightened, we will not be waiting for federal government to provide light and to bring a general electrics. We will have our own engineers that will be able to come up with solutions to light. We will be the light producers because we have the greater light inside. Greater light produces less light. So here, what do I mean by greater light in this situation, for example? In this situation, if you have physical light, that is eyes, and you have electricity, you only have empty what? Empty shelf. So with your eyes and light, electricity, you will see all this your stuff on the ground. They are not arranged, they are not arranged. But you have light. Electricity allows you to see that, okay, you have shelf, all right? Then you have clothes and shoes and everything. But it is only the greater light inside that informs you how you have to see from inside to make this kind of arrangement. You think that only this person who arranged it as shelf? Even in Africa, shelf is not the problem. Cupboard like this, shelf like this, cupboard like this, is available even in Africa. And in Africa, people also own clothes and shoes. But you go and tell me, go and show me who were arranged like this. But because even in Africa, there is light, the lesser light. In the afternoon, there is sun. So they have light. That's not the problem. It's not electricity that's the problem. Don't put the blame on electricity. Put the blame on the greater light that is lacking from here. So where does this person have the idea of making things color-wise, arranged? Everything arranged. I mean, it's almost like a design. It's almost like an artwork. That is now coming from the greater light. Inside. It has to come from inside. Anybody who has read my book, we know that you are not just reading any book. If you look into my book, you will see arrangement. If you have read, anybody who has read any of my books, you will see arrangement there. Proper arrangement of things. You will see this thing there. You will see order. You will see things placed after the order. You will see stories. You will see quotations. You will see anecdotes. You will see dictionary. You will see, explanation. You will see scriptures. It is this. It is an artwork. My books. That's why they are different. That's why I talk about them, because it will be different from anything you have read before if you have read my book before. I came up with the technology of doing it. Why are they different? Because I started with light in here. So there is no way you read my book and say you are not blessed. In fact, somebody read my book and said that, I don't know what's wrong with this guy's books. I don't know where he's getting them from, but how can he, where did they download them from? He thought I downloaded. You see, he's just downloading them from somewhere. We have to look for the site where he's getting them. You can't believe it. He thought that it's some old classic that only nobody knows. I'm the only one who knows where they are downloaded. Where I'm downloading them. Where they are uploaded, so I'm downloading them. Human being cannot get their mind around it. Because I came up with the technology, with light inside. So light inside is more important than light outside. So the greatest light that we need in Nigeria is not the electricity light. It's the light of illumination, the light of knowledge, and the light of wisdom. That is why if anybody has been listening or watching or looking at my, broadcast on YouTube, if you know my YouTube channel, there is a series I did, or a few series. One is how to convert. Is that the way it's called, the series? Converting the invisible product into visible product. Is it a series?
Yes, it's spiritual experiences.
Spiritual experiences must be converted into tangible products. That's what I'm talking about. In that series, if you don't know how to have the inner light, if you don't know how to do this, how to get the electricity inside, go and look for that series. In fact, there are a series of series you have to have a recommend for you. Apart from the books. Let somebody check the books for me, because I'm sensing somebody is asking, where do I get, how do I get this? How do I know how to put on the inner electricity? Instead of Nigeria looking for physical electricity, Nigeria should be looking and teaching people and ourselves how to get our inner electricity functional. Okay, no. Well, you'll be showing me one by one. I'll be telling you which one. Okay, not this one. Okay, not that one. I'll be telling you which book what book they can find it in. Keep on putting them down. I'll tell you. Okay, wait. Okay, this one could be it. I will be telling you to put them aside. Okay, no, wait, that one too. Put this one aside too. Okay, bring that one too. Okay, let's check the other ones. Yeah, it's good for it. Nope. Yeah, this one. Yep. No. Yeah, that one. Nope. Nope. Yep. Nope. No. Okay. Yeah, that one too. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're going to talk about books that will help you to put on the electricity inside of you, the inner light. Now, leave those ones. Be giving me these ones. Come and stand here. I will go back to my place. Yeah. You later arrange this later. Take all of them at once. If they're too much for you. Okay. Yeah. This one here, no one is better than you, will help you to put on that inner electricity. Illumination and wisdom. Just for you to know what to get in what book. This is another one here. Veritable source of energy. This is the inner electricity we are talking about. Not just illumination, but the energy. These are the things Nigeria should be concerned about. But if you know Nigeria now, before, the number one complaint used to be leadership. Leadership is our problem. Leadership is our problem. But now, the number one complaint is electricity. If you can just have electricity, okay, now we'll give you electricity. You will see that you have comfort. And you have clothes. You have electricity now, you see now, your eye don't open. But who go and they jam? For you to have proper arrangement, you now need inner electricity. That's what I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with the physical little electricity, that's a little thing. I'm preoccupying myself with getting things inside from you so that you will be able to come up with creativity. Okay. How to become great. This is another one. About the inner electricity, inner light. Okay. Yes, especially this one. Creative, you see? Order. Synonymous with creativity. Creative and innovative power. Okay. What to do with your time is another one. Source of energy. Source of light, sorry. Source of electricity inside of you. Okay? Why you must urgently become a workaholic is another one. All right? I didn't say how to create your network. It means you don't have all the books here. Is there? Okay. Another one here is the law of difference. We can't go around. The law of difference is another one that will help you to put on the electricity inside of you. Raising up the next generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates is another one. And then this is another energy one. The source of your latent energy. Discover the source of your latent energy is another one. I don't think you have it though. Does somebody have it? Network somewhere here. Is it here? Even I don't see how to be in the here and now. Yeah, I don't see. I think it should be Mayowa's fault because you didn't bring here. I can't see how to be in the here and now. Are you not the one in charge? Okay, show me the one of the net worth first. Okay, this is how to create your own net worth. And can you find me here and now too? This is the net worth for anybody who wants to do it. Create your own net worth. Where is it? Here and now. Yeah, bring that to me. Yeah, and how to be in the here and now. These are the other books that will help you to create the inner energy, inner electricity that we are talking about. Thank you. Okay. Yes, you can take care of it now. Okay. So, now, I hope we are making progress. So, the definition of order is proper arrangement of things. There are two things needed for it. Every order, every progress, every success starts with what? Light. Now, but there are two forms of light. Which one and which one? The physical one, which is the lesser one, and the greater one, which comes from within. Okay. So, knowledge, understanding, illumination, and wisdom, where does that come from? Is it from the outside lesser light or from the greater light that comes from inside? Yes. So anytime you will hear me talk about light, I'm not talking about electricity or sun. I'm talking about the greater light that comes from inside, which is synonymous to knowledge. I didn't put understanding there, but understanding, illumination, and wisdom. Think about that. So, I think I can go back to my place. All right. So now you make sense of this. So after God finished putting in place light, which is knowledge, illumination, and wisdom, now the process of order can begin. Okay, let me now tell you what that means. Let's go back to that picture. God has put on light, physical light, that is sheep. We are not talking, that's easy. But the greater light is there. What does that mean? When I say this lady who put this together here, after she has put on the light, what does that mean? After she has seen inside her what kind of picture she wants to create, how the whole thing should be arranged, that's when the light comes on. We are saying now the light has come on, she can begin to work. Work of order is only possible after light has been put on. Now that you can see in your mind first what you want to create, then you can physically begin to work. There is no need to work physically without putting on the inner light first. Wisdom demands that every work must start with light. Light must precede any form of work. But what I see around, people don't have light to proceed to go to work. People don't even think, they've never even heard about it before. They're just looking for a job. When you go to work like that, you become a slave to the system. You become a slave to Uncle Sam. You serve Uncle Sam. You are just going to carry out duty because you are working in darkness. It's like somebody is to close his eyes and just, okay, here, I got this one. I got it, and you are happy that they are paying you some little chicken change at the end of the month. And you are troubling yourself like living in darkness. So that's why I said, if you use YouTube, go and look at those series. Spiritual experiences must be converted to physical, tangible product. Then the time series and the work series and the faith series. They are free on YouTube. Just go and listen to them. They will help you to open your eyes into this depth we are talking about, this light. Or read those books. And the way to get those books is to write to dssbooks@gmail.com. Or go and read them for free. You can go and read them for free on Kindle Unlimited. If you have Kindle Unlimited, read them for free. But if you want to buy them, you can buy them on Amazon. But if you want them even cheaper, then you write to dssbooks@gmail.com. So here we are. So after light, illumination has been put in place, after knowledge of what you want to do with the cupboard is in place, then work is joyful. Is it joyful? That's another. It's a pleasure. It's delightful. Work becomes delightful thanks to light. Because you have put light ahead. You put light ahead. Then work is delightful. But when you don't put light ahead to full understanding of what you want, you'll be struggling even to arrange this. You'll be struggling. Even after you finish, it's not beautiful. Then you will put it down again. Because there was no light before. Ahead. But once light, not physical light, you remember? Light, the picture of what you want inside you. The light. How do you know that the light inside you is turned on? You will see a picture. Picture of what you want. This woman here, she saw a picture. An approximate picture of what she wanted to do. That is an indication that the light has been put on. So once you have seen that picture inside, the light is put on. This one, while she's doing it, she's singing, ah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And she's walking. Light, work becomes pleasure. When it is done with light, when light is sent ahead, when there is understanding, when there is illumination, light becomes a pleasure. I mean, work becomes a pleasure. But once there was no illumination sent ahead, work becomes labor. Work becomes suffering. Work becomes torture. Work becomes sweat. Now, people are sweating in Africa, are they not? They are. Too much. And that's why that was one made me cry. But if we will be able to help them to get to read books, in fact, we have to start a campaign, and I'm appealing to people to start a campaign in Nigeria or Africa. We should just start a whole campaign of encouraging people to read. Because that's the best way. Everybody in Africa is dreaming of having a smartphone or device. That's misleading. Their lives will be tough and difficult. But if they fill their lives with illumination, only through reading it comes. First of all, through reading, not through praying. If you're going to campaign and popularize the idea of reading, then we will be able to put on that greater light inside. Then there will be less pain for our people and to our people. But when we are keeping them to just, like for example, I listened to the president that they're talking. We are talking about employment, creating employment. That is rubbish, I'm sorry. That is what the West has done. The West has created employment. And every government in the world now is thinking employment is the big deal. The only job of the government to create employment. Then you create that employment, people get employed, but then they become slaves to Uncle Sam. That's why I wrote that book. Because they are working without putting on light, the greater light inside of them. Working without illumination, working without understanding. So that's what the West wants. Slaves. They are not interested in you getting understanding. They want you to get education. They don't want you to get illumination. They want you to get certificate. They don't want you to get wisdom. They want you to get a job. So that you'll be slave perpetually for the rest of your life. You'll be just going to do what? Groping through life. Because that's when you are groping, that's when you need somebody to control you. When your eyes are closed, you don't see, you are groping, then you'll be happy safe that somebody is saying, go there, go there, go there. Because you are blind. That's why I'm more concerned about the greater life for my people in Africa, not employment. Employment is secondary. Because a man that sees knows where to go. He doesn't look for employment. He doesn't need somebody to give him something. He goes take it, what he needs. Yes, it's just like when you close your eyes in this place now. If somebody will come and say, I'll take you by the hand, come follow me. You will be happy, you will even be rejoicing self, you'll be thanking the person. But when your eyes say, that's not even what I wanted, you go and you take the one you want by yourself. Because you can see when your eyes are open. That's what illumination does. And that's why I'm more concerned about illumination than employment. And all those things they were talking about, in the governments talk about. And then our Western people, our people in the West also, everybody just say, I got a job. Oh, I've been living in America, in this place for 10 years. I've not gotten a job. I've been looking, I don't have papers. I don't have papers. Why do you need papers? I want to get a job. Because what do I say? Looking for job, papers. You're supposed to look for light. Greater light. Then you will not need to look for papers. Papers will begin to look for you. Okay? Paper will begin to look for you. I remember when I went to American Embassy one day, I was here in Ukraine. They said I must go to my country to go and get visa. I said, but I don't live in my country, I live here. I think somebody later told me that that's the style they use to refuse you visa. That's to say that they would not give you visa. I said, okay, me, I'm not concerned. If you don't want to give me American visa, I will go sit here for myself. But I sat, but I didn't just sit looking for visa or looking for paper. I was busy putting illumination in myself, putting greater light, creating greater light inside of me. By the time, and I was busy doing, because when you have greater light, you see what you want, you're going for things. I was busy going for things and creating things. One day, they said they have one holiday in America, they call Martin Luther, the third week holiday or something, Martin Luther King, January something. Yeah. They were looking for me to come and speak to the nation on that day. Martin Luther King holiday. Before me, the person who spoke was Desmond Tutu. Now I'm going to be the one. The other one was Mandela. They gave me visa very fast. They were calling me to come and get it. Light will look. When you have light, they will be looking for you. You go, but they look for paper. They get paper, they look for you. Paper, visa will be looking for you. Just be busy creating greater light in yourself. Light is attractive to everybody. Light is attractive to all. Okay. Where am I? Yeah. So, you've seen that order is not possible without light. Order begins where there is light. And order can only function because of by the amount of light you have inside of you, illumination you have inside of you. So the process of order starts in the mind. Because when you have order in your mind, you will see picture. The confirmation that you have order in your life is the picture you see. Okay, for example, if I tell you, if I ask you rather, what will you be doing the next 5 years? Most people don't know. Where will you be? What will be happening in your life? Give me 5 points or 10 points of what will be happening. Give me the picture of arrangement of what will be happening. If you are able to see the picture and you are able to describe it or draw it or tell me the point, that means you have light already concerning the next 5 years in your life. Then thanks to that picture that you see, you could create it. Because you see the picture, you can repeat it, you can create it. That's what we call light. But most people, in the next 5 years of life, what will happen? No, I've not thought about it. You don't have light. You cannot create it. Because there is nothing for you to create. Nothing for you to produce. That's the difference. So because you might want to know, how do I know if I have the light or I don't have the light? If you have the light, you see a picture. If you don't have the light, there is no picture. It's only darkness. It's void and dark, like in Genesis here. So once light is established, now the next thing to do, to create anything, to start any enterprise, to fix any nation, to build any industry, to become a millionaire, to do anything. Tell me any goal you want to attain. First of all, put light in place. The confirmation that you have light is a picture. Now, let me tell you how that works with God, because that might help you. In Genesis that we just saw, this story where we just saw, why did God say, let there be light? Because God was was about to create. He was about to start the whole process of creation. Putting things in order. He was about to put firmament in place. He was about to put rivers, ocean, water in place. He was about to put trees, animals, people. He was about to start a great project. But remember what I told you? Nothing is worth starting without light. Only fools do that. And God is not a fool. So why did God start with light? Because all the proper arrangement of things is only possible after you can see. And where was God seeing? You mean God needed light to see physical? No. Illumination to be able to, first of all, in his mind, imagine what will be created. What will be where? Where will the animals be? What will come afterwards? You know, where should be the land be? Where should be the firmament be? Where should the rivers and the animal and the fish and something? That is light, picture. It is after he has seen that picture that he could now say, let this one be the, let this one be the. Do you think he was doing it chaotically or accidentally? Just asking what comes to his mind now is what he said. No, he's only rehearsing, repeating what he has already seen in his imagination, in his illuminated mind. I don't know if you are getting it. He had seen the proper arrangement of things in his head first, like here. And now he's now just calling it for you. This one should be here. He's rehearsing to you, repeating to you what has already been seen in his mind through the light that had come out. That's why he needed the light. You know, before even Jesus said, before all the creation started, you know what he did? He allowed the Spirit to hover over the earth. The Spirit, we don't know for how long. His Spirit was moving over the sea, over darkness. Over. Why? Because the process of creation was taking place inside, not outside yet. Inside. That's why the Spirit was going to see where to put the trees, where to put the ocean, where to put the waters, where to put the people. That's why you all need time to study. God didn't just rush. I saw darkness. I'm not happy. I'm going to fight. No. He let the Spirit over. He needed to create light, illumination, picture. Now when the pictures are ready, hey, here we go. Let there be this, let there be this. He's repeating, rehearsing what he had seen in his mind, in his illumination, through wisdom. Now he can now say this one should be. That's why everything came on order. He didn't need to repeat anything. Because he had seen. Just like this woman. The same process like the woman here. The physical light that she put on, electricity, is secondary. The greater light is that she had seen inside her. The same with God. And the same with you. That, my friend, is the ideal process of creation. You can be a creator by the same formula. Genesis, a dangerous place. That Genesis. That Genesis. Oh, he's loaded. He's highly pregnant. So order is only possible after what? After light. Which light? Inner light. The greater light. Okay. But is the external light also needed? Yes. Definitely, but it's easy. That is cheap because God has given sun, God has given, this and, something. That's not even a problem. So when Nigeria is making a big deal about light, physical, it's laziness. Because they are not thinking about the one that really matters. That one. Because after the physical light is there, electricity, what will we not do with it? Something has to be here for you to bring out. There must be a picture over there. Pictures of how to build a submarine. Picture on how to build plane industry. Picture on how to build medical industry, pharmaceutical industry. Pictures. Those are the things I'm talking about. Of how we could be technical, we could improve our technical ability so that we'll build our own submarine. Space station. Somebody is telling me about electricity. You they joke? Electricity is... But Satan wants you to be preoccupied looking for physical electricity, without letting you know that when you get the inner one, you will come up with the physical electricity. And even the one you want to get, the physical electricity, you want to go and bring Chinese to go and build it. Rubbish, insult. For you, what matters is just for you to be there. But I'm not interested in that. I want my people to be able to create even new source of electricity that Chinese or England or British people have not even thought about. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And for that, you need to go to inner insight, inner light. So after the light is in place, now what you do next is God now needs to continue the process. You see? God is so wise. He knows what follows what. He knows that he cannot continue the process. We think, when you read the Genesis, you just think, yeah, God just started process. He saw darkness, it just reacted. It just started to produce. No. No, it's not that easy or simple. You can put up the light down. So, he now needs to continue the process of order by making sure everything is in proper place. Not only after light. I cannot overemphasize that. Enough light. That's why you need all these books. That's why I always advocate solitude. Always practice solitude. When you do solitude, you'll be able to read books. When you go to solitude, you'll be able to listen to messages. That affords you the opportunity to be able to do all that. Because order now is possible after light has been established. Okay. Are you now ready to read? Okay.
What is proper?
Proper arrangement of things. That's why you came on time. Okay. Okay.
Adapted.
The Nigerian man would like to pretend that he was always here, so he just continues reading as if nothing happened. Mm-hmm. I thought proper arrangement of things would have said sorry. Sorry, sir. Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. Proper arrangement of things. Okay.
Right, number 1. Adapted or appropriate to the purpose of...
No. First of all, start with...
What is proper?
Yeah. Proper arrangement of things. You remember, order is proper arrangement of things. So we are taking the word one by one. What is proper arrangement of things? Let's start with proper.
Number 1. Adapted or appropriate to the purpose or circumstances. Fit, suitable. 2. Conforming to established standards of behavior or manners. Corrector, decorous. 3. Fitting, right.
Okay. Fitting right. Yeah. Let's see some films, right? You have some videos there? This is a man-made island. Can you believe it? Can you help me put up the thing here? Just put on it the other side. Yeah. Okay. Can you imagine it? This is an island that is designed by somebody. This is an artificial island, though. Somebody created. While we are talking about electricity. How can he create something like this? Because he saw in his mind. Just like we saw the clothes on the cupboard, and of that woman. Just like God saw a picture of all the things he wanted on the earth. That's exactly what somebody is thinking about. It is as a result of greater light inside. You have to have great degree of light inside of you to come up with this kind of island. You know that Richard Branson he has an island like this, Richard Branson, of his own. Came up with your own island and bring your friends and family there and your business partners. They can have their own houses there. On water. It was just water here before. Let it be playing. Just. It's a man-made island. Many of them. Waiting happen. Hello, ladies. Want to start again? You see what they are doing? What human beings are doing? These are things they are talking about. Our people, they are talking some the electricity. This is all coming from the imagination of men. Light. These are all result of light coming from the mind of people. These are the things I want to instigate my people for. These are the things I want to inspire people to be talking about. These are the things I want to push people to. We are sitting there, oh, there is no electricity. I'm looking for employment. You lazy? These are the things we should be thinking about. Great things. These are things we should be talking about. These are all man-made islands. It was not there before. People creating it. Look at what people are using their mind for. Using their brain to do. And we were sitting down thinking about, oh, government didn't do this, government didn't do this. This is not government, though. These are individuals thinking, using their head and their brain. The world is thinking about things in future. We are sitting down here saying government didn't give me this, government didn't give me that. Can you imagine what our churches are thinking about? Everybody's thinking about their own empire when we could be duplicating the kingdom of God on earth. These are the people we call unbelievers, duplicating kingdom of God on earth. Through illumination, through light, through pictures, through greater light of the mind. See? These are artificial. These are all artificial islands. Man-made. Can you see what is happening? Can you see what men have done? Disneyland kind of thing. But my people don't want to create. They just want to use. They just want to consume. And exploit what other men have done. I'm using Mercedes-Benz. If you see the craze in Africa with Mercedes-Benz, now you create them. I'm thinking about assembling and creating something like that. You are thinking about using. Lazy mind. Think about how to create things like this. Is Galia there? Galina there? She's not here? Okay. Can you see bridge? These are all man-made. God didn't send it from heaven. People kept up, people kept up, design things like this. From mountain, see what they are creating. Human being. On the river. This take technology, this take illumination, this take light, great light, to be able to create things like this. Like a ship right in the river. It's an island. We see what, these are all artificially created though. Then somebody will go and tell me, okay, they have Eco Atlantis or something. Eco something is going down. Who is doing it? Israelis? And some Westerners. Why don't I want to see my own people do this. I want to see my own people there. I don't want them to employ people. Okay, Dangote. Who is doing it for Dangote? Is it not Indians? I want our own people to get to a place where we will do this ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm writing all this. But that's why I'm saying creating the next generation, raising up the next generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You see what's happening? See what people are creating? See what is happening here? Even if you cannot come up with things like this, at least come up with something. Let me stimulate your mind at least to begin to think about doing something with your head. I have great inventions that will rival these things. What I have in my mind as I'm sitting here. So I'm not just talking. I have inventions already in my mind that when the time comes, by the grace of God, it will come out. It's going to rival all these things. That's what all of us should be thinking about. You see, man-made islands. Human beings created it through their own fantasy, through the mind, the power of the mind, the light of the mind. Can you see order everywhere? Proper arrangement of things. Can you see order? Proper arrangement of things, not be Lagos. Nobody is cooking in the road here. No pot boiling. Proper arrangement of things, you see. Order is at the top of everything. Proper arrangement of things. Serious people are doing serious things, and we are somewhere there, complaining. All right. I think you have an idea of what we're talking about. You have another one, right? Let's see another one here. God himself put everything in order, but only through light. Everything works through light in this kingdom. Light first. But light of the mind first. And only physical light. Only after. Okay, we see this. I've seen this before. No? I think we have seen it. Okay, let's go. Let's just continue. I have an impression we have seen it. Okay, yeah. It's not going.
All right. Genesis 1:6-8. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
You see, that's why I showed you the islands. Can you see that principle coming to being in islands? Yeah. This is the principle here. That's how they created those islands. Okay?
And God made...
The island is dividing the waters. Manipulation of the waters through lime. That's how created the islands. It came from here.
And God made the firmaments and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. This is the creation.
No. So what do we see here? This whole description we see here. What is that? What is it called? God, the firmament, the waters divided, everything. what we see, can you read it again?
Yeah. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
Now let me now open your eyes to what you are not saying, most likely. What has happened in this place is called the creation of forms, structures, systems. Now I want you to see if you are going to notice where are forms here in these verses, where are structures, where are systems. What we are just seeing here from these 6 to 7, these are the creation of forms, structure, system. Through order. All these things were created by order. Let's read those verses again. Remember what you are looking for? We are looking to see forms, structure, systems. Yeah. Okay. Look out for them.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
Okay. Put on the light, please. Tell me, people, where do you people see light? I mean, the structure here, system, and forms. Who sees them? Come and tell me what you see. And then the next question is, where is order in those things? I said all those things were created through order. Where is order that created? No, don't put on the light. Why is order that created them? And where is the form? Where is the structure? Where is the system here? The way you are looking as if you are confused. Use your inner mind. Illumination. I want you to see in your mind. We need you people to begin to use the inner light, the bigger light. Make they show me now. Nobody is coming forward.
If I go back to what you taught us yesterday, you told us that in Genesis, when God, in the process of creation, it's not just creation, but also management. So when God said, let
management, which is proper arrangement of things. Yes.
Proper arrangement of things. So when God says, let there be a firmament, it's a process of creation. Okay. And then after it said, in the midst of the waters, and let it divide up from the process of division. It's demarcation and management and organization and order.
Okay. So you can see order.
Yes.
Okay, very good. She came to answer the question of order. She's seeing order in this thing. But I asked you two questions. One is, where is structure? Where is system? Where are forms? Where are forms? Where are structures? Where are systems here in those verses? And then the second question is what she answered. Where is order? But there are other places where there are order here. The role of order. But I need you to see in your mind. That is how you develop your mind. And those things we see about the islands being created, this is how they begin to see. You've got to use your mind to see the invisible. It is the ability to see the invisible that brings you later on to creating it. So who says? I'm really waiting for you guys.
Okay, let me give you the shot. So God created the firmament in the midst of the waters, and he said, let it divide the waters from the waters. So I'm seeing forms of waters, because if he's putting the firmament into in the midst of the waters, then dividing waters from waters, that sounds to me like some forms. That's like different, bringing a division into it, and then dividing the waters from the waters, that's like a structure. So for example, the water is then I put in the firmament, So there's a structure above and there's one under. And then the firmament is the form which God created. So the structure is the division of, for example, the way we saw the islands. So there's something that is built that makes the water here and the other at the other part, building a structure. And it forms a system in the long run.
You've tried. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Good attempt, good attempt. Yeah, please come. Anybody who wants, take the microphone. Take the cross. Take the gun.
Like, I see that
Close that microphone.
the verse 6 to me is forms. And
What is number 6? You go read that more.
okay. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So I say forms.
Where is form there?
Like the firmament.
You go say am now. You remember the way he was describing it. You've got to do it as a picture. It has to be vividly visible.
So like, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So that the firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the water from the water is the form. Then God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. Like, I see a structure there.
Okay.
I don't really know how to explain, but I see structure in that verse. And like the verse 8, and God called the firmament heavens, and the evening and the morning were the second day. It means God named the system. The structure, like the what he has done, he called this a system.
You are very good. You are seeing something, but I'm disappointed that you cannot describe properly what you are saying. Okay, anybody wants to try? Who wants to try now? Yeah, Mayo, let me come try.
I want to try. So where are the forms, structure, and systems in this?
Yes.
The firmament is the form. So how something is structured, how something is designed. No? Person's looking like,
I'm looking at them. They were just showing emptiness before, but it's like they have changed it now.
Yes. So that's the form. So how, the firmament divides the water. So, okay, I'm going to go back from what Dr. Sunday said in the beginning. From my understanding, it's like about lights. So before I can explain this, the light aspect of it, that the light is not just what you see in terms of the electricity light. The light was the understanding and the information God has already, the vision that he had of how things should be. So that was already created in God's mind, and he knows what it looks like. And I think that verse 6 is very assertive, and he said, and God said. So he's seen that already. So the firmament again now, so to the next day, the firmament is the design that he has got, the form that he's got in his head. He knows that once it's divided, he divided it for a reason. So once it's divided, one part is required for something and another part is required for something else. So he knows what is going to happen in each part of the sphere, or maybe hemisphere of the sphere. So that's the form. And then the structure, again, that's another light. The structure is how it's going to be divided, waters from waters. You know, I mean, they're water already, so I'm thinking that why is God even dividing water from water? So again, that's another form within that, another structure. There is a reason. The division is for a reason, and the middle, the actual middle of the division, it's another form for a purpose. That's another light that is being illuminated, and then also calling them what they are, you know, saying that. And God called the firmament heaven, and it named day and then evening and morning. So first is the vision, the light that he has visually, mentally, the idea, the information. He's already seen everything as it should be, and the purpose also of what they should be. So the form, what they are, the structure, how they should be, and how it should be, which is also in the structure. So dry land, day, night, the water and dry land, the different spheres, day and night. So he also knows that those things are needed. Even though they're not seen, they are needed, and certain things are going to happen in the day, certain things are going to happen. So there's a lot of things that, even in these verses, they are not seen, but he knows that they are going to happen. A lot of things would happen just in this.
But my question is easy. It's simple. Only 3 questions. Form, structure, system. Finito. You want to help your girlfriend? Okay. Okay, let's see the German girl. Yes, let's see.
Okay, so what I see is, it says, and God said, let there be a firmament. Oh.
From verse 6 to 8,
Yes.
Where is the form?
Yes.
Where is the structure? Where is the system?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So verse 6 to me tells me that if he says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters, I first of all see water, the form of water only. And then there's a firmament that came to divide that water into 2 pieces of water. So there were 2 forms of water, because the firmament divided the big picture of water, let's say, or the big form and unity of water.
Okay, you see the way she explained it. Beautiful. Can you say that again so that people will see the form you are talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so at the start there was
verse 6, because she started it. What was your name again, Solomon? Taribi. Taribi started it by getting the number that verse 6, verse 7, verse 8. And which also I know also God, but he didn't quite make it so clear. But he was on the way to describing this thing, but he couldn't talk. But say that again, please, in verse 6.
So in verse 6 it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So what I see is that we have one unit of one form of water, and that unit...
That's important. That is a unit, one form, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this form, this unity form, was divided into 2 through the firmament.
Now you have 2 what?
2
forms. Now you have 2 forms. Beautiful. Now can you see forms? Because of the firmament. It was just an enclave before. But now, thanks to the division that was brought in by the firmament, we see forms. Forms were created. Simple. Each time you read the Bible, don't just be reading it as a literary thing. Anything you read, you have only understood it when you see a picture of it. Anytime you read the Bible, always end it. Don't leave that verse until a picture has been created in your mind. Otherwise, you will not be able to use it or apply it. You can only apply what you picture. So when you read Genesis, it will only be story, theoretical story, if you don't see picture of what we are talking about. Don't just read Genesis or Bible anyhow anymore. Any verse you read in the Bible must finish with a picture. That is what leads to application. It must bring order in your head first. And when order is formed in your head, it will turn to picture. Whenever you are reading the Bible, if it doesn't turn to picture, order has not been formed. And when order has not been formed, implementation is impossible. Okay, now we got our forms. Let's continue.
Okay, so we have the two forms, one water on the left and one water on the right, let's say. And then in verse 7 it says, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So this tells me that there's a structure that is being created, because in the first verse we see only two forms, but we don't know where they are. And 7 shows me that the waters are above the firmament and below the firmament.
So where is the structure there?
The structure is that we have at the top one form of water.
Read it. You have to read it first.
Okay, so verse 7 says, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament. So we have the firmament in the middle, and then it says from the waters which were above the firmament. So we have the firmament in the middle, and we have the water below the firmament, and we have water above the firmament. That's what I see.
So which is in a unit, it is called what?
A structure.
Structure.
Yeah.
So you now have a structure. Because that is now a unit, another unit is created. First of all, we had forms, division created. But now, because the firmament is established together, joined together with the two forms, so we have a structure, just like this. This is a structure. This stall, this stand, and this, they were divided, they are two different shapes. But because they are brought together, it has become a structure. Just like this house. Many different something and components have been brought to make the structure of this, a house or a structure. So that is a structure in verse 7. Okay, go ahead. Then what is a system? This is where I will now see if she will pass this one. If you will pass this one, then I know that, yeah, you have really been working with Pastor Sunday.
Okay, so
let's see the system one.
Verse 8 says, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So I see here the system in the fact that there was a role assigned to the firmament. Because first of all, we just had the firmament itself, and to me, a system is something that works automatically. It's like an automated process. So if the firmament has received a role, and its role is to create the heaven, you now know that there's this system that is automated, because it creates. Okay, one more.
You want to have her? Okay. She tried. Julie.
I think the system comes in verse 8 where...
Okay, you come, look up so that the camera will see you now.
In verse 8 where it says, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So if we have the second day, then that means whatever happened before was the first day. So I think this established the system of having day, this 24-hour system, or what do we call that? Where we have Mondays, we have Tuesdays, we have Wednesdays, we have the ton of events.
You want to help? Okay.
So that's what I see.
You are trying, you are krutiting vakruk. That's what Russia say. You are cycling around, very close, but let Kristen help you out.
Julie said, she's mentioned the form, she's mentioned the structure, but the system I see is the process or the procedure with which God put together the form and the structure together. So the entire process that God used, God was actually putting in place a system of creation, a system of creating the form.
Very good thing you pointed out. You pointed out something that I've not mentioned here. He has just described process. I didn't mention process here. He has described process, but he has not described system. Okay, Dennis wants to help you.
A system is basically defined as it can be made of different parts that are interdependent. So the form we have, the structure we have. So we have the firmament that divides the waters on top and the waters below. So these are two separate entities, but then they are all called heaven, which is the structure. And since they are all called heaven and they are interdependent, you can't have the waters below without the waters under. Otherwise, they are not connected. So the fact that they are connected is what makes them a system, in that they are interdependent. So that's the system.
No, that's a structure. Okay, who wants? Okay, do I have to do it myself, or somebody else wants to try? No, I think it's Baba. Baba is doubting. Baba is doubting. Should he come forward or should he? Closer here.
My understanding is verse 6 that says, let's divide the water from the water. That is actually a system. And also in verse 7 that says, dividing water which were under the firmament from the waters as well. And in verse 8...
You started wrong from the beginning. You messed up people's minds.
I think...
No, you don't think again. I don't finish. You have failed the exam.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't fail them. You don't fail them. But now, let me help you through. Now, what do I say? The closest person to the answer was Dr. Success. Yeah, but I don't know why he didn't round it up, or he couldn't round it up. Okay. What is happening here is, you are right with verse 6. We got the forms in verse 6. In verse 7, we got the structure. Now, in verse 8, that is where we have the system. So where is the system here? Hello? Hey. You go look here. You couldn't answer. Now I'm trying to answer. You are distracting people. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. But look at the word and the evening and the morning. What is that talking about? What do you see? You have to see a picture. What picture is that creating in you? Process? But what is the process? What is that process creating? What picture is it creating in you? No. Interconnectedness, yes. Creating what picture? What finished product are you saying? What process? What process is going on? Day. Okay. What process is going on? Function. Good. But there is a word I'm looking for. Function. Beautiful. Function. Process. Functioning. Growth. Very close. Development. Very... the people are coming close. You people are coming very close. There is... Replay. Beautiful. Motion. That's what I'm looking for. Motion. Can you see motion there? That is motion. Replay. Motion. What do you call it? Development. Again, somebody said something. That is motion. Can't you see motion here? You can't see motion? Okay, let's start all over. Automation. Beautiful. Automation. Can you see? Who can see it? Come back and tell us. You saw it too. Yeah, every one of you, Julie, 3 of you, help your fellow brethren. Because they are now confused. It is clear. You could see motion here. It is a process that is set loose. It is a triggered process. It is like It's like, what do you call it? Train. What do you call it? Automotive. Do you call it automotive train? Locomotive. It's like locomotive. It's already on the rail, on the track. So, but once you set it and it's going around, that's what we are seeing here. Okay, but I described to us. Help us. Yeah, what do you see? What I'm talking about? Yeah, can you see system? I wanted to say like a never-ending process. Circle. So, because once you microphone.
Once you set something in motion, then you don't have to go back again to trigger it. Beautiful. So it just keeps going.
No, but the problem is that they don't see it. They don't see it here. They don't see that automated. You show it. You need to press this one to show them the word. What word here created that movement for you? How did you see? In what word? Because they can't see it here. They are just seeing words. They are not seeing picture of movement you are talking about.
I think for me, what happened was, it says the evening and the morning were the second day. Meaning the evening and the morning are working together.
Beautiful. And evening belong to another day. Morning belong to another day. So it's like a machine. They are interconnected. So one day and the other one is like, you know, when you have that's what we are seeing here. So it means one day is pulling alongside the other day. That's what God created. God created a system of day and night, days. That is what we have just seen here. That's a whole mechanism. That is how you build factories. You see the machines, have you noticed in factories, machines rolling like this? Because something is pushing it, connecting it to the other. That's why it's rolling. And it's rolling and creating something. That's what we have seen here. But he is just, it's mildly, maybe he will still explain further. Maybe other people will help him explain further. But
what I saw that...
Point out the words that help you.
Is the word and.
But he left out the word and. But it doesn't matter. It's not a problem because for different people, different words would be the trigger for you. But for him, the trigger was the evening and the morning, which is also fine. But I was surprised that I didn't see the word and. But the and also is a trigger. But let him explain.
It's a trigger because even if we remove this second and in verse 8, the statement would still have made sense. It would have read, and God called the firmament heaven, the evening and the morning were the second day. That would still have made sense. And normally, like when constructing words, because even the Bible is making more sense to me now, usually we don't begin like a sentence with and. We don't want to begin because and is is joining things together. So you want to begin a statement with like an article or something. So this and coming at that point, at that second and, meant there is a continuation.
God wanted us to stop,
yes,
pause, and pay a special attention. That these are not disjointed statements.
Yes.
And they are not two sentences. They are continuous
yes,
processes. I know, I think you are getting it now. You started to see it. You want to finish up?
Yes. So like from verse 6 to verse 8 is almost like same thing. So everything has been joined together.
It's A to Z
statement
process that we are seeing here. It's a beautiful thing. You are seeing how God creates structures. You are seeing how God creates systems. You are seeing processes. You are seeing forms. Yeah. Everything is in this thing. And when I read the Bible and I say, that's why I'm always angry that people are going to church now. It's like they don't even use Bible. But as far as I'm concerned, it's like people in Africa have never even seen the Bible at all. And even me, I've not started using Bible. Now I've started today, this week a little bit. Wow. Because Bible for me comes and like I see Bible. I see, wow. I see motion. I see like God sees. If you could train ourselves to see like that, the Bible will become another thing to you entirely. Bible will become wonder, sign, wizard. Everything you see there will become wizard to you. And you will know that there's nothing you cannot do. Everything will just become, things will just be opening to you like this everywhere. If you begin to read like this and see like this. Yeah, please. Yes.
And then I also saw from this place why God didn't have to go back to recreate.
No, but I thought I brought you here before 30 minutes ago. Why is it that you didn't see it that time?
I didn't have the right words in my head to describe to describe it. Because when this verse says, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. This also shows that evening and morning were dependent on
the process that was started. Which is firmament and the waters and the forms and the structure.
So God didn't have to go back to creating morning and evening any longer, because the firmament was already there. And in the firmament, I think that is where we have the solar system and everything. So
and that is the basis for the structure, for the system to work. That is the basis on what the system could now function.
So as long as we have the firmament, we will always have evening, and we will always have morning, and we will always have day.
And that goes down to, I talk about motion, but then Julie corrected it and said auto-motion, which is identifying and emphasizing system in it. So can you come and talk about it yourself?
So I was actually, success almost said what I was going to say, which is that
but you are not a sex, so you use your own word and say it your own way.
Okay. So in verse 8, it says, and God called the firmament heaven, which was the trigger for the continuation. So because this happened, we were able to finish the process.
Which means that anytime you want to create a system, you need to start by doing the foundation. The foundation of everything, the fundament we call it here. Foundation, okay. Fundamental foundation of everything is the firmament. Now, once the firmament is there, then you could create some structures. And then the structure you bring together into, the forms, you create the forms, sorry. Because the forms, you might need many, many different forms. You bring all those many, many different forms into a structure. But the fact that you have created a structure doesn't mean that it's going to work. That's why you need this process to join them, to join together all the structures, all the forms and the structure together. But then the dynamic, the dynamism, the dynamics of movement, the motion, and the automated motion is what we now, of everything working together is what we now call system. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Please say it in your own words, please.
Yes, so we needed the trigger in order to, which was created through the structure that we already had. So we had the structure laid out. First of all, in verse 6, we had the two forms, which were joined together to create the structure in verse 7. And then in verse 8, we needed to automate this structure so that we can have a system. And the trigger to create that system, that automated system, was the firmament, which we see is the structure here, or in conjunction with the two forms of water. And what I also saw, for me created the system, was the second day, because we only had, it shows me that we had the first day before.
So we are not dealing with something static.
Yes.
And we are not dealing with something singular.
Yes.
We are dealing with process, and we are dealing with continuity. And that second day that she just mentioned is telling us about the perpetuality of that continuity. And the perpetuality of the continuity is clear system. Because when anything works perpetually and continuously without anybody's further intervention, that's a system. I don't know if you get it. When anything works perpetually and continuously without anybody's intervention, that's a system. Like the sun. It rolls. When it's day here, the sun comes here. When it leaves here, the night is here. When it goes there, wherever it goes to, that is now the day. And then when it comes here, that's now the night there. It's working perpetually, continuously, without anybody's intervention. That's a system. your digestive system, your what do you call it? Respiratory system, your blood system. Everything is working like this. That is the creation of a system. But all those things we just mentioned, respiratory system, digestion system, all those things started with forms. Your digestion system, for example, you have the form of intestine. Then you have different, many forms. Then when they are brought together, they become structure. But then when they are set loose to work together in one unison, that's when it becomes a system. Same with respiratory system. And that is how we build hospitals. That's how we build universities. That's how we build nations. That's how we build countries. Same principle. To build nations, countries, hospitals, systems, facilities, industries, factories. Please, start again, please. Whatever.
Yeah, so just to finish up is the second day here for me that also shows a system. This is a signal for me for a system because it makes me realize that there has to be a number one if we can see here that there's a second or a number two. So if there is a second day created, it shows me that there has to be a system that that explains that there has to be a first day, and that system has created the second day, and so I can now
why don't you show her in the camera?
I can now foresee that there will be a third day because the second day was created thanks to the firmament and the forms joined together.
Beautiful. Give her a round of applause. But let's find out, let's hear the question of those people who didn't get it yet. Who is it who didn't get it? Because it could be tough for some people. Because this it takes thinking, creative thinking inside of you. I know I see that you became very serious at a point. I'm very focused.
Yeah, when we started talking about systems, I was thinking about it from the medical point of view because from medicine we understand that system is more like the highest. It all starts from cells to tissues to organs and to systems. So I was trying to process it. I'm using this scripture and how the systems in our body functions. Why? Because like what you said, what makes a system is in the body is that it is automated. You don't need to control it. It just works all by itself. And looking at the creation in Genesis chapter 1 verse 6 to 8, the light bulb moment for me was the ants that were there. Because let's take the digestive system. In the digestive system, there are several forms of organs. There are several organs that make up that system. However, they are not isolated, meaning they don't function all by themselves. I mean, just I'm here, but looking at the digestive system, like I explained the other night, right from what happens in the mouth, is as though there is a plus sign. So like what happens in the mouth, there is an addition, like the and, to what is happening in the esophagus. Then what is happening in the esophagus is like what is happening also in the stomach. So it's like a continuation of processes and a continuation of systems. Like so the and now makes sense. Looking at the beginning of verse 8, saying, and God called the firmament of heaven. That's like putting the whole system, like this continuous plus this. Yeah, continuous. Then and the evening and the morning. So
now you see the motion.
So it's like
now you yourself, you are creating the motion.
The whole motion, yeah. The way it is with the digestive system.
Now you are seeing the motion. And even your own description now is creating motion. As we are talking now, I don't know if everybody else is saying motion. Yeah. But you say it again. Use those ants explanation again. Anybody that is able to imagine will be able to see motion.
Yeah, exactly. So in verse 8, it starts with, and God created, and God called the firmament heaven. So that's like an addition. So then it says, and the evening and the morning. So it's like continuation, saying like, I'm here, then and.
That's you see the motion?
Movement, then and the
you
evening.
See the motion?
So, like that.
And then it's perpetual.
Then it continues.
That's
like
what we call
system. So that was where I got.
Is it beautiful to read Bible this way? Yes. Who said absolutely? Success. Why do you say that?
Because
give him microphone.
Honestly, see now. Before now, like I've read this. I don't know.
Okay. You've read this before.
I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times I've read this particular scripture, but it never made sense before now. I never saw forms, I never saw systems, I never saw the practical wisdom of forms, of structure, and of systems. So I would rather read this maybe as the religious side of it or the historical side of it, that maybe God did this sometime or they said it happened somewhere.
Are you serious? No, it's not possible.
And this is why intelligent...
Are you serious?
Yes, Pastor.
I still have at least 100 messages on this Genesis chapter 1. At least 100 that I've not mentioned yet. Yeah, definitely. At least 100 different other lessons.
Ooh.
Messages. At least 100. And you'll be seeing a lot of them. Before you leave this week, you'll see about 25 different ones. Yesterday, there was different ones entirely. And you remember?
Yes.
And you'll be reading the thing?
I've been reading it. And I perfectly... also talked about the inner light you talked about earlier.
Inner light. It all depends upon inner light. Yeah.
So this is the reasons why very intelligent people don't want to become religious.
No.
Or have anything.
Because religion will kill you.
Yes. But imagine the beauty of, I can take this to business school and base them with it.
You will just become a PhD immediately.
So, and they would know that all of what I'm saying is from the scriptures.
Now, can you people begin to understand my dilemma that I found myself amidst all these pastors who are just, I don't know what they're even doing with Bible. I used to think everybody's like me. So when I am now discovering, it's like they have never even touched the Bible at all these pastors, either they're Americans or, it's like they are not even exposed to the same Bible that I'm reading. For me, that's the way. That's why I'm always emotional. I'm passionate. So you are just satisfied keeping slaves like that in your storage, in your storehouse.
Slave camp.
Slave camp. It's like God is dead. The way people are presenting God, yes. It's like he's dead.
Absolutely.
It's like they're just telling his story that he was there 2,000 years.
He was there.
Yeah,
yes.
He was there some time back. As if he's dead now, as if he's not functional.
No relevance.
But for me, he's alive every minute. This world is alive every minute. This thing is reality for me. These things are living. And you can feel it that the world is living.
Absolutely.
But the way you said you were reading it before, that was dead.
Yes, dead.
But now the way we are talking about Genesis, the way we are reading the Bible, you see it's alive. This book is alive. This book is living. You wanted to add to it?
I just wanted to say from what you said that it's really painful because... It's really painful because...
forward.
It's really painful because the approach, what we've experienced so far, is they've made God look like a distant
ancient being, ancient of days.
That to actually come to Him in your mind, you're thinking that you need to make a lot of effort.
Wow.
You need to spend time to travel that distance.
I see.
To go and meet Him where He is. They don't present
where
Him.
He is? But it's inside you.
Yeah, they don't present God as someone who is always with you, always around you.
You understand what he's saying?
That you carry Him along. Even when you go down and when you kneel down to pray, and you say our Father, what you are thinking, you're not saying our Father that is
inside
in here or who is around me, but you're thinking, our Father, I want to go there. I want to go there to meet him. So you are thinking, I need to okay, is there anything I've done so that God will allow me into you know the scripture that says, come into his presence with thanksgiving and into his court with praise. You are in your mind, you are thinking you are going, that his mansion is somewhere, and you need to first of all go through the gates. You need to first of all,
the picture.
Yeah, you need to first of all go into the gates, then enter. Then
that is what religion does.
That's what religion does. Then you enter the gate. Then you make sure that everything is pure in quotes. Then you go there. Then you are acceptable. You understand? That's it's so.
But this is for you to live. For you to be able to get things like this, you have to live with God every minute, every day.
Yeah.
He has to be your friend. You have to be aware of him, that is here with you. He's not visiting you. He's living in you. You are not looking for him. You live with him, and then you hear him easily. Then you'll be able to see what he sees. That is why I think that prayer series is so important. The thinking series, prayer series, yeah. All those things are very...
Just yesterday and today, in fact, the Bible is just it's just breathing. It's just breathing.
Wow.
I just see I don't know, it's just fresh.
Physical.
It's fresh. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow, yeah.
If we were to read that same scripture in churches in Africa, where the Bible says, and the evening and the morning, where the second day will probably say, that the evening of your life will disappear.
No.
And the morning of...
No, you are not serious.
That is how we will read it. And the morning of your life will come. So pray that...
Miracles.
And miracles. That is how we will read it. But now, the Bible is breathing. The Bible can be applied to everything, every single thing of life. Either it's science, either it's physics, either it's... This will be very, 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 very interesting for any aspect of life. Any aspect of life. Forms, structures, either it is medicine, either it is... One will be able to discuss intelligently at any level with anybody of any cadre.
Yeah. Two of you can come.
I want to say that this whole process really demystifies God for me, and it makes him so
practical.
Yes, very practical and almost human.
Yeah.
You think?
Yes, he made us in his own image.
Exactly.
Now.
So I'm now realizing, that it makes so much sense that we're made in his image, and also that when you say that solitude is what helps you to bring those
treasures.
Yes, those treasures, those heavenly treasures down to earth so that you can convert them into something practical. I now understand that, yes, he has all those treasures.
Can anybody show the camera stuff?
Because, should be. Fine.
Yeah, okay, it's good now. Yeah.
That he actually has those treasures because the evidence is in the Bible. And in the Bible even he was very detailed and very practical. And I haven't seen that before. For me it was more, I did see that he was creative. Yeah, that he created the different creatures and made creation, but it wasn't so detailed and it wasn't so practical that I could actually see a form in it and paint a picture and start from a very foundational aspect so that I could teach people and I could make it understandable to anyone in the world. So I could even use that material like Dr. Success said in business, but also in elementary school. You can teach this to little children very easily if you break it down this way. So I'm just very flabbergasted, I can say, because it's just very, it's like if you say God is your friend or he wants to be your friend, it makes so much sense now because it's like you can relate to him now because he understands your mind and he's trying to communicate to you in the way that your mind functions because your mind functions that way in the first place. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, for me, what religion has done, religion has really damaged us, actually, because it has presented God as a mysterious being who does things because he has some superpowers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so the only reason why God could do all of those were just because he's God, omniscient, and he could do...
Because he has power.
Yeah, so he could just... So we could...
The you people have not listened to my message. You know, there's a message I prayed. Oh, it was an interview I did when Mayowa was taking interview on my 50th birthday. And I gave explanation that God didn't create the earth by power.
Apparently, no, this is what I'm talking about.
He didn't create the earth by power.
Yeah, I'm talking about the reality of things in...
Because if he had created the earth by power, you know, then he didn't need Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he said in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And through it, all things were created that were created. And nothing was created without it. So the Word, that is knowledge, illumination. That's what, it's not power. It's not because God is powerful. He could have used power, but he used the Word. He used knowledge. He used light. He could have used power. For him to use power, what he would have done is just, power is different. Power is not, it doesn't need process. Power doesn't go through process. Power, it will just say, let everything come. Boom. Everything will just come. That is not. But if he had used power, he wouldn't have educated us. He wouldn't have made us to be in his own image. He wouldn't have taught us to think and to create too. If he had used power, none of us would be able to create like him. We will only be able to, only people who have power will be able to create. That's why now every human being can be creative like him.
Exactly.
Because it's through illumination. It is not power. It's not because God is not demonstrating his power. You know, a lot of things that God is doing, is demonstrating his power in some places, but a lot of things that he's showing us in the Bible is not to demonstrate that he's powerful. He's not pompous. He's not boastful like us. He's not saying, okay, I have power. You see my power now. You see now. No. Everything he's doing, he has us in mind, first of all. He's first of all to show us how things are done so that we might be able to function like him. He's more interested in us functioning like him than in demonstrating his power. So most of the things you see in the Bible, they are not coming from power. They are coming from principles. That is why I say, don't pray for God to change Nigeria. It's not about prayer. It's about understanding how God functions. Yeah. And when you get the light inside, that understanding, you'll be able to function like God and create the nation you want.
Exactly.
That's why I showed the highlights.
Exactly. You know, what you're saying is so true, because looking at the state of the church right now, I would make reference to the church because that's why I was raised. I said this is perceived as, the whole creation story is perceived as God being powerful.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you the reason why.
No, I never even perceived it like that.
Yeah, because what will happen is that we have many pastors who are making declarations, for example, saying this shall happen to you. So that is
now I understand why they are making those declarations.
Because of they believe that
that's why I couldn't understand where those things are coming from. I think they are coming from New Age. Because for me it's a fraud.
Exactly.
You want to bypass process when God himself didn't bypass process.
That's the point. For example, like before the end of the year, you're going to get $1 million. It's just like I'm declaring that something miracle money.
Now you are helping me to understand the religious people.
That's the idea. So they're not looking for the processes. They're not seeing a God who
follows processes,
who thought through what he was about to do, who had systems, who was looking at forms, structures, and then he made it, and so that we can also repeat the same.
Yeah, that's the only way for us to repeat.
They're seeing an all-powerful God who can make anything. So that is the reason why they can just come behind the pulpit and declare that in this year nobody will die. Not because they are going to watch their health or they're going to eat healthy.
It's not based on anything.
It's not based on any process. It's just that I'm powerful. So you hear testimonies like I went to the mountain, God came down to me, he spoke to me, and
I'm powerful.
I'm powerful. We have the spirit. So
that's not Christianity. That's paganistic understanding.
That's exactly what we have. So Pastor, that is the reason why I'm not surprised.
That is paganistic. That is the one man powerful. No, God is totally different. In fact, the God of the Bible, Christian God, will show you more of the importance of relating and relationship than it will show you the need for his power. God is humble, even with his power. And he will rather show you the relevance and the significance of relating with him, fellowship, than coming with some, whoa! You see, that's why God was trying to teach that to, I think it was to Elijah one time. He was waiting, one of the prophets was waiting on God. And then there was earthquake, and God was not in there. And then there was fire, and God was not in it. Then there was wind, why wind? And God was not in it. Yeah, but it's still, it's a fellowship, this relationship. Relationship. Fellowship. That's where God is. He shows. He could do wonders. He could do thunders. He could do fire. He could do. But now everybody is still calling down fire in my country. But they don't know it. They don't get it. They don't get the message. That's why Jesus always said, only adulterous and evil generation look for those signs. Look for the Father. Look for relationship. That's paganistic mindset.
Exactly. So, Pastor, that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
okay, so I'm just going through what I've been hearing just from Genesis chapter 1, and you're saying there are over 100 messages you can preach from here. Just reveals to me that, man, it's just like we need to just,
man,
just we should just get the whole church, or like, let's just scrape everything, just cancel everything that we've been doing, and let's just start afresh. That's how, like, let's just start afresh. Like, what are we doing? What are we preaching? What is it? There is no light, there's no illumination. And this is the reason why the people who have the greatest inventions, they are not
religious.
They're not anywhere close to any religious body or any religious, because
but they are close to light.
But they are close to light. Their minds are illuminated. Their minds are working. But because they come to a church or to a religious body, and they can't just see any. They can't see any illumination.
No illumination.
Like
darkness only.
Just darkness. Just darkness. So this is just mind blowing, and this really tasked my mind, because like I always say, that church now, it's all about superficiality and sensationalism, and it's hard for you to go to church a day and you leave church saying, I'm feeling headache, man. This message today was making me think, use my mind. I don't know if you guys felt like that, like
it doesn't happen, eh?
It doesn't, no. Exactly. So, like you're coming from service, and you're your friend, like, man, do you know how my mind was just, like, I was using my mind, I was using my brain. You don't have that in church. Yeah, you just leave. Oh, our service was just emotions.
Biomass.
I cried. It was powerful. But just this little exercise, I don't know if you guys felt it. For me, I was, my brain was working, my mind was working. I was trying to picture what's this. And I even started feeling like, okay, this brain is knowing that it's working.
Physically.
Yeah, he's doing something. So imagine that's what happens with every of our gatherings. The people are like, man, my mind was working. But what we hear today is that God is good. To be spiritual means to be illogical. That God does not work with our logics, and you're using logic with God. The spiritual things are not understood by physical minds and things like that, and carnal minds. So we've been duped, man. Seriously.
I'll keep it brief. What Pastor has been teaching is just kind of popping some scriptures and bringing light to those scriptures. There's a particular scripture I've always read, but I've never understood it, and I never knew why the Bible used that phrase. And that's where the Bible says that God sustains all things by the word of his power.
That's right.
I was always saying, why not by the power of his word? Why by the word of his power? But from the explanation you just gave, it just made perfect sense. By the word of his power powerful, but rather than use his power, he reserved it and used his word, because the word is the medium of transfer of his thoughts, of his ideas, of his concepts, of his knowledge. You understand? So of his understanding. So it was that word that he sent. So the scripture is just like coming alive every single minute as you teach. And like Anu mentioned, all we've seen in church is just pastors trying to prove to people that they have power. That's all. When they do, sometimes they tell you they went on fasting for 7 days, they went on fasting for 21 days, and they came back and God just anointed them with, so whatever they say will happen, will come to pass.
Could that be a little explanation why they are finding me strange?
So you are, like Anu said yesterday, and I truly believe him in a way. I think, was it Anu or Success? He said that maybe you came too early, because you are, honestly speaking, you are way beyond our present generation. Our generation don't think the way you think. Our leaders don't. They can't even fathom, because I know what I'm saying, because I've interacted with some of them. And I can, even though, yeah, I know that my knowledge now is like nowhere.
No, but you are going, because right now, they will find you as if you are from another planet too.
It's just, so you're not at the same level. I think every day I'm beginning to discover you. I'm beginning to know a little bit about you. You're just like, you're way out of their league. And that's why they'll find it very difficult. So I should give them more understanding. Yeah, they'll find it very. I'm talking of our leaders. I'm not talking of we. That's why you can understand why some people will come on the platform and make the kind of silly comment they make, because the men they are looking up to are men that cannot even reason with what you have. They can't even reason with what you have. So I think, like Anu said, it's a total overhaul. Because we've been doing church, we've been playing church, and we've always taught all our life that this is church. Because there was a time, I think about 4 years ago, it just dawned on me one day. I was reading the scripture where Matthew 24, Jesus was warning his disciples. I read the entire scripture where it was talking about the end time, famine, pestilence will come. But I noticed something, that in that scripture, Jesus actually warned us 4 times, be careful, let no man deceive you. 4 times. So I paused. I said, if he could mention it 4 times, and every other thing in that scripture he mentioned just once, it means it is very, very important. So I started asking myself, I said, is it possible that even right now I am already deceived and I don't know it?
And at that point you didn't know, eh?
I didn't know. I was just like fervent, serving God, but I sat down. I said, look, is it possible that...
most Nigerians also don't know that they are.
Is it possible? I was just saying, is it possible? Because he said it's everywhere. It's because he said the last days, the deception will be so bad that even the very elect, if it were possible, will be deceived. So I was not saying that, yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, I believe in God. I love God. But it could be possible that I'm already deceived and I don't know it. So,
but now you understand.
In fact, I went back and I now said, okay, the little I knew to do, I said, okay, let me write down all the doctrines that I practice. Let me write it down, and let me start to ask myself one after the other, this doctrine, did I believe it because I have actually experienced it or I've researched it myself? Or
you see, that's why God will make people like you to come here. Because God saw your heart, that you are looking for truth. You see, someone is already, his heart was looking for truth. But he himself couldn't have gotten out. Even though he wrote that doctrine, he himself couldn't have. He needed a greater light. Yeah, because he would not know. Because right now, in Nigeria, Nigerian churches, let me just tell you the truth, 90% of them, I mean, the charismatic Pentecostal ones, they are following the teachings of Word of Faith.
Yeah.
Kenyon, Kenneth Hagin, and that is all error.
Error. Yeah.
So even if you mention it now, that is error, that old doctrine, that old Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Those are the backyard of Christianity, even in America.
Yeah.
They are not even the forefront. They are not respected at all. Those are the least. They are being disdained. They don't represent Christianity. They don't present Christianity. Out of everything they are doing, 5% or 10% of it is Christianity. 90% of it is error. What they are presenting.
Yep.
Those churches, Benny Hinn, all those people. Yeah, but people don't know that. And that's what Nigeria is practicing. So when the whole country is built on people that are marginalized and fragmented, error, cultic, a whole country is copying them.
Yeah.
And that is what we are calling Christianity. Can you imagine how much our darkness is? Our darkness is bad news. It's too deep. Now, even right now, if people on my platform here that I say Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, Rev. I know all of them. They're my friends. You know, because they are still ministers, but their doctrine is run for your life. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Russia. That is called run for your life. Don't ever follow their doctrines. They're not sound at all. They are not even Christian ministers. What they say is that they don't call themselves Christian ministers. So none of them will call themselves Christian ministers. They will call themselves ministers of faith or ministers of prosperity, prosperity minister, faith minister, healing minister. But they are not Christians. So let's say, for example, Christianity has 100 doctrines. They would zero in on one and say that's who they are. But Christians are supposed to embrace everything Christian. But they don't. That's what makes them a cult. Americans know this. Americans know that they are off. But Nigerians don't. Not just Americans know. Europeans know. Everyone. You go to Europe. Go to and talk to white people. Anybody that's just normal Christians. And tell them Benny Hinn or something. Most of them, if they don't belong to charismatic churches. So I'm just talking normal people. They will just run away from you. In America too, go to the mall and say Benny Hinn or Kenneth Hagin or Kenneth Copeland or Rev. They will just run away from you too. Those are marginalized groups. But in Nigeria, people don't even have an idea that those people don't practice real Christianity.
Sir, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. And the reason I say that...
because 4 years ago, you would have been using those words as your standard self.
So what? Yeah, because no, before then, those were the people I was seen as fathers of the faith. I was looking at. So, but after I did that, because I wrote a long list of the doctrines, and it took me about 3 years to go through each one. So I was going through them. At the end of the day, I discovered that 80% of the things I've been following, of the teachings I've believed, were actually not scriptural. 80. So that was where I now started, because I didn't have the boldness then to completely step back just like that. So I started withdrawing gradually.
Because even in Nigeria, even the fathers are following those.
Yeah. But I got into problem because when I started discussing with people, I started telling them, look, have you really searched it for yourself? Do you know the reason why you believe, what you're following? I was castigated. I dare not, especially in the church I joined, which was Winners. I'm not afraid to say that because they look up to Kenneth Copeland as their demigod. And I have known that there's something about, I just don't want to relate with his teachings. I found it difficult to buy his book. But if you make the mistake of ever saying such a thing in their midst, you are dead. They will fry you. They will fry you. So you just delivered. You don't know what you did. You delivered me now. You just completely delivered me. I think my deliverance was like coming. Gradual. But today, now, you just delivered me completely. And that's why, look, it's just like I'm catching fire. It's like fire is burning. Freedom is, oh God, freedom is sweet. I've just been delivered because I've always been saying there is something wrong somewhere. There is something wrong because I look at their teachings. I read their books. I go to the Bible. What I see is different. But these people, they are fathers. You understand? They are fathers. The whole world look up to them. The majority, because like you said, majority of the Christian practice today follow that word of faith movement. Even, okay, like before I came to, was it before I came to HMT? There was a lady on the same platform that we were chatting. And people were saying, oh, this pastor, that pastor. So she's now saying, her pastor is okay, her pastor is good. And I just questioned her, who is your pastor? He mentioned the name. I just said, if I were you, please, I think you should go back and check. Do your research, please. You need to check. He said, why? So I gave her few of the reasons I believe that such people should not be followed. She started arguing. I said, look, I'm not here to argue with you. So I sent her some materials and I sent her some videos to watch. But she was saying that she was going to, because they were looking at the good works. So I told her, I said, don't confuse good works and sound doctrine.
Unbeliever I won't do more.
Exactly. I said, don't confuse sound doctrine and good works. I said, because good works will take you nowhere if your doctrine is, the foundation of your doctrine is not sound. So she said, okay, she will look at it. So I just believe, especially the charismatic, the Pentecostal, and some other denominations, we've just been led astray. Now, I think when Jesus was saying that many will be deceived, it is dawning on me that we don't have Christianity. We don't have Christianity.
What will help people? People have not taken serious the series I did on paganism. What is it called? It was called something else. What did I call that? The death of Christianity and the resurrection of paganism. Okay. The death of Christianity and the resurrection of paganism in the African church. Okay. It's a whole series. You know, I dealt with doctrines. People didn't pay attention. They thought I was just talking. But I was actually dealing with the doctrines that exist now in Africa that are not Christian, and then the Christian doctrine. So I was comparing them. But I call them paganistic doctrines. But that is on the basis, the foundation of what most of our churches in Africa is doing. Then the syncretism. So those two series, paganism, syncretism, and urgent measures, they will really help to detox, just the detoxification of all the wrong garbage that people have called Christianity. People have called Christianity what is cultic, what is not even recognized, what is not even Christian. Okay, you go to the internet and just say charismatic Pentecostal apostasy or error, or just go to YouTube and look who are the people there. You will see all those your heroes. They are the ones who are there, and then you go and look at for theologians to really, they will break them down. You will discover, or just look Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, and look at the critique. You will see that where am I? No. And if people in Nigeria are still basing that as the basis of their faith, now I know why they are attacking me.
So just to add to what you said, I don't know if anybody has heard of the Strange Fire Conference. Strange Fire Conference. They dealt with what Pastor is saying now. I don't know if you know R.C. Sproul.
No, he's dead. He just died, no?
I think he's aged now, but I don't know if
he died last month.
Last month?
Yeah.
Oh, because I know he was sick. R.C. Sproul and I think, what's his name again? One other guy, I think John MacArthur or something like that. Yeah. So they did a conference called Strange Fire Conference, and the conference was particularly on the Pentecostal and the charismatic movement, the Word of Faith movement, and where they spent days. It's on the interview. Everything Pastor is saying now is 100% true. They took each of these powerful so-called Pentecostal leaders and started dissecting the teachings. They started dissecting the teachings and the doctrines in the Pentecostal
on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Pentecostal movement. You understand? So when I went through that series, I was like blown away. Even though I didn't agree with their own doctrine.
They are evangelicals.
Yeah, they are evangelical. Yeah, they are not Pentecostals.
So they will be against tongues and things like that, or miracles. But, they are basic. Okay, for example, let's take those MacArthur and things like that. They don't believe in miracles. They don't believe in speaking to tongues. But they are wrong. But only 20% wrong.
Yeah.
But 80% of their doctrine is correct. But with all these ones we are talking about, they are just, even the word of faith people are just like 5% right in their doctrine. The Pentecostals, they are good Pentecostals, normal Pentecostals who are okay. But only not these ones where.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, you're correct. So, I just like, okay, I know some of the, the Bible says that the Spirit of God will lead you, will speak to you. So, I saw that what their own doctrine, I saw that, yeah, it's sound. Logically, it's very sound. But there are some things I really did agree about. So, okay, let me put that aside. And let me just listen to what they have to say on the Pentecostals. And by the time they finished with them, I was like, my God. I say, and these are the people we've been looking up to as fathers. These are the people we've been following. And that was for me. And it was towards the end of my own kind of like research. So it's just like drawing me closer and closer and closer to the truth. You understand? But I was still a little bit, there was still a little bit of mist in my head. I really didn't, it wasn't very clear. But now,
I think the problem with Nigerian church is that we have not been taught to question.
That's the problem. We don't think. And that's why when I came across your thinking series, I said, this is where I will start from. This is where I will start from. Before I go to any other prayer or whatever. Because you can be praying, but you will pray with the wrong mindset. You understand? You can be looking, maybe doing another series, but the mindset, your worldview is wrong. You're seeing through a blurred vision. Your perspective is dead, completely rotten. So whatever you look at it from that perspective. So I just say, I need to first of all clean my thinking. I know it will take me time. I just completely detox. And that's why when I came across your teachings, after 1 week of watching you, I just decided to stay at home. I said, I'm no longer going to church. I'm no longer. Let me just sit at home and just learn and just flush out the rubbish I've taken all these years. And that's what I decided to do. And ever since then, I know I can see the difference. I can see the difference in my thinking. I can see the difference in my reasoning. I can see the difference even in my faith and in my walk with God. In fact, right now, I feel more fulfilled, more happy. I feel more closer to God than when I was like busy. Sometimes it became like an obligation that if you don't do it, you feel guilty. If you don't go to church, you feel guilty. If you don't pay tithe, you feel guilty.
But the other day you said that these 2 months you've been following me, you have done more than all your Christian life. Yeah.
It's just amazing. Pastor, I just want to say thank you very much because you don't know the deliverance you're bringing to people. And now a lot of things are just making sense. That's why the Bible says when Jesus Christ was preaching, the power of God was present to heal the sick. It wasn't like he was displaying power. He was just teaching. He was just giving out knowledge. And the knowledge was just like setting people free. The knowledge was healing people, was delivering people. So in fact, it's just like, I was telling somebody yesterday, looking at you, just like having a foretaste of what Christ did, of how Christ walked with his disciples, how Christ taught his disciples, poured his life into his disciples. I said, this is how true Christianity should look like. What we've been in before is just like, this swamp in Niger Delta. If you've been to the swamps, you see all these petroleum products, dead fields, just there. I said that's where we've been swimming, and we thought we were enjoying. Yeah.
Thank you.
What I wanted to say was that the greatest people who are opposing all of these teachings and revelations are people from the World Faith Movement, Word of Faith movement in Africa and things like that, the so-called big churches of Africa. And that particular, like Pastor said, that particular movement came from Kenneth E. Higgins, originated from, but what many of them do not even know is that you can go on the internet and search for it. I will get the articles and all of that, and is that Kenneth E. Higgins himself denied all of these things before he died.
Wow.
In 2003, you can find out about a book called The Midas Touch. That is, if you want to break their backbone, tell them to go and read the Midas touch, because that was Kenneth Hagin's opposing all of the things about giving to bless God, 100-fold return, debt cancellation, anointing, and all those things, where he said that these things are not true. That if actually they are true, then those in drug business, they are the giants, they are the men of God. So he debunked all of those things. So tell them to go read the Midas touch, or get on the internet and search out for Oklahoma Kenneth Hagin's meeting with popular prosperity preachers in 2003. So the name of the book is what? Midas touch. The Midas touch.
The proverb, some Midas touch.
Yes. So he told them, he called the popular, in that meeting, there were the popular prosperity preachers of the Kenneth Copelands, Savelle, Duplantis, Creflo, all of them. And he told them that this is just you using it for personal enrichment. You are using the gospel to enrich yourself. You know, so for the problem we have in Africa is because we don't do analysis.
Yeah.
We don't think. We don't do critical thinking. We just follow sheepishly like that. You know, we don't rationalize. So if we have asked ourselves all of those questions, we would have understood that there is no rational basis for all of this gospel in Africa. It has totally destroyed. So now we created a situation in which we use God. We are going to look for God just to get his power, to be able to. So it's always, I want to be more powerful than the next person. But the teaching this morning is completely opposite of that, because rather than go to God looking for power, you go to God looking for forms, looking for structures, looking for systems, looking for processes. I don't know if you get so basically we need to understand what the power of what we have gotten, to be able to apply forms, structures, systems into every aspect of life that we are involved in.
So did you, at what point did you begin to question like himself? What is your own journey?
For me, because I was raised in religion and brought up, and already I was dissatisfied. Honestly, the truth of the matter, very honestly, if I had not met Pastor at the time that I met Pastor, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with God again. That was the honest.
It's not just about Pentecostalism or anything. It's about God altogether.
Yes, it's about. So for me, it's not even about. I knew that church had failed me. So for me, that was not even a question any longer. And I was desperate to search for, because I knew there has to be more to this thing. And sometimes, a man that wants to be deceived, we meet the deceiver. So it's going to be very, very. If you want, you know. But if a man is desperately searching for the truth, you are going to also find it. So for me, I was desperately searching for the truth. I was very restless. And that was when somebody said, okay, I think you need to go and see Pastor Sunday. And at that point, I was like, where I come from, people like me don't get to see big men like him. I said, no, you don't know this man. He's very approachable. I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And then I came here, and the first HMT was mind-blowing. It was just, my life just completely, this is what I've been looking for all my life, because I never knew God had answers to practical issues of life. To, you know, and a lot of people that are going to all of these Pentecostal churches in Africa, they have a lot of questions on their minds, but they can't ask.
Okay.
They can't. So they've created this mystery, this environment of mystery, of superstition, and all those things that you dare not question anything. You dare not question authority. It's a slave camp, basically. So for me, at that point, so I think that the thing to kickstart the revolution in a personal life is your own desperation to search for the truth, to encounter the real thing. You have to be fed up with what you have. When you want more, you will get more, basically. So Pastor has all of the resources, all the books, all the messages. These things are there. But if you don't want, if you are not thirsty, you know, nobody's going to force feed you. That would be another. So it is left for you to get the resources, the materials, and to discover truth for yourself in every area of life. So that was what worked for me.
So if you will go to Nigeria now and say, people like Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, all those people.
Yes.
That you Nigerians don't follow them. What would you think the reaction would be?
The initial reaction, I'm sure, will be shock. Because these are people call them, in fact, now they call them great-grandparents of faith in Africa. That is what they call them. They call people like Kenneth Copeland, great-grandfather of faith. Then someone like Pastor Adebo will be grandfather of faith. And someone like Bishop Oyedepo will be the father of faith. And then maybe their own pastor will now be whatever thing. So they've kind of... So people don't even say my father in the Lord any longer. When they see someone like Bishop Oyedepo on the TV, they say my grandfather in the Lord or my great-grandfather in the Lord. You know, those kind of serial generational kind of things. So I'm sure it will be shock because for them, they have to know that they've been born by a wrong father. So you have to now begin to understand God for yourself, not just following the erroneous movements. And it's unfortunate because the greatest damage of the word of faith movement in the world is in Africa. It's not even where it originated from. Africa felt the worst impact, and that is why I'm so crazy about all of this. So Africa bought
because in America, who comes from America? Who is living in America? Have you interacted with people who are not charismatic, just regular people, concerning people like Copeland, Dollars? What is it? Or people like that? You've not. No, she has not related. But, you know, if anybody has gone to America to relate with normal human beings, or in England, Christians, who are, yeah. Yeah. Give it to him.
So I have a good friend who's a missionary and he's living in Holland, and he's from Iowa, I guess.
Yes.
And I asked, what's your take on Benny Hinn? And he said, well, we've not been thinking and talking about Benny Hinn for the last 20 years. We don't care about him.
That's in America.
Yeah, so what you say is true.
But in Nigeria now, he's like a hero.
Really?
Yeah, but in America, people have forgotten about him a long time. That's why he's going to America.
Yeah, it's a strange thing about him, because he was in Holland a few months ago, and he collects money to take to Africa. And when he's in Africa, he takes money
to America.
Yeah. So it doesn't...
It's not that wrong. Everything is... I see Baba is totally shocked, or what?
Most of these things, I think... I've been a victim, but some of these things really, because I don't really follow religion. Okay. That's why I'm just sitting down there, coupled with that.
Thank God.
That I'm actually tired. I'm really tired, but I don't follow religion. And that's God so preserved me in a way that if I get into a place and because we tend to be sometimes carried away, when we get into an environment, those doctrines they start introducing it to you, and before you know it, you are in it. So God so preserved my life that something will just move me. Something will move me. So, and that's why since about 2-3 weeks, I've not been calling in on the program because I have nothing to say, really. It's been that I couldn't make a tangible contribution because I think the callers, they need to bring their experience in to contribute to this. So, and all these things, I think for me, I need to listen and actually really see how lucky I am, really, because,
God has preserved
me. That's what I tell my wife.
Germany could have helped you too.
Germany could have helped me, yes, because
you are not going to those.
I was going. Okay. I was going to Baptist church in Germany. Is it Baptist or charismatic? Because it's so. But then I left as well. I was going with my wife and members of my family, because that's why I'm just sitting down there and. And I was telling my brother, because when he shared his experience with me, I showed him, my resource, really, and he was quite amazed. He was quite amazed because all those teachings, I showed him my resource, really. So the true word of God, I just go in there and find out myself. And more so when I started following you, I said, well, this is actually what, what I've been getting. And more so now that it is now centralized, focusing on my continent in Africa. So that's why I just think, I belong to this.
All right, you want to speak, eh? Okay.
Well, for me, I will always say that the luckiest people in our midst are the ones that are just casual churchgoers, the ones who has not been born again, like we say. They are the ones that were quick to see the truth. Even when Daddy Freeze was talking about the tithing, they were the ones that were first to jump on their feet, like, hey, my money back in my pockets. So the casual churchgoers are the ones that are easily delivered than the ones that see themselves as born again. But that born again is still built around the position where they place the man of God in their lives. Because that's why all this whole thing is still very difficult for some people to understand. But for me, I got my deliverance through my wife always asking me questions every time we go to church. She will question everything that was said. She will question the testimonies. She will question why say my papa, why do this, why, and I will defend it as a typical African man, like, it's normal. And but even with all those things, she will still continue that same argument. Even when I say, let's go on outreach, she said, I'm tired, I'm not going. And I was seeing her as the problem, as the rebel. That she's being rebellious, she's not being submissive, she's, but meeting Pastor Sunday now made me to understand, because it was in the search, in fact, that made me to even start searching for God more, to start looking for, if these pastors are saying God is speaking to them, I want the same God to speak to me too. So it now made me to, but I was doing it with the same mentality of how we are being taught to find God. Come to the church, do church activities, do everything, get involved in everything. That's serving God for me then. But one thing I realized is that when you make a decision to find God himself, then God will single you out yourself and then take you to the right channel where you can find him. Because that's what happened to me. That's what made me to, I don't know what I was doing, but I opened the Facebook and I was just flipping through and I saw a message that was talking about wife being submissive, and I'm like, okay, let me hear this part. And when I was listening to him, it was a different, I called him, I said, come on, who is this person? I've never heard about him before, and listening to the message, and I'm like, wow, this is a different perspective. I've never seen it from this angle. So it now triggered me to go and search for more. And that is also what we like, what we're not doing, because when we see people we start criticizing from the point that we feel that is hurting us or we don't like. We start writing our criticism immediately and start saying bad things about the person without making research. And when I started making my research, I realized that, wow, this is totally different. And then my wife will keep on saying to me, like, you see, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you that something is wrong here. I told you that, so it was like, and you know that I just had to swallow my pride and be like, yeah, I think you are right. I think you are right. And then that thing now made me to humble myself and then put myself down to start listening to what he's actually saying, to start looking for other messages. And then it's like the more you go, the more you are discovering something new. The more you go, the more. I said, man, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. And in fact, at a point I said, let me even Google about him. I Google about him. The first thing you would always see is the negative side of anybody when you when you want to find out about it. I said, okay, now this is the more reason why I want to even go deeper. I said, you know what? You see this Ukraine, I'm going. I want to go and see for myself. And then I'm like, at a point I said, no, I think my wife should go first. And we had that debate, and I'm like, and I was like, okay, you go first, because I was feeling like I'm more spiritual than than her. Let her go first, so she will come up to my level.
You are very truthful.
So not knowing I'm the one that is lost.
Wow,
because the worst ignorance is not even knowing that you are the one that is sinking.
Wow.
While the person you are thinking that is sinking is the one holding you to lift you from where you are falling into. So because it's the way our minds were conditioned. It's something that started from when I was a child. We started going to church from. In fact, by the time when I realized what was church, by the time I began to understand ABCD, I think I was in my grandma took us to a church. So it's a foundation that started from scratch. So like I would say to my children, the luck they have today is that they won't go through what we went through. Except if they now decided to do that for themselves by themselves. That's their choice. But the luck they have today is they won't go through the same thing we went through, because the deliverance has come. Amen. So looking at the book of Genesis that we were taught today, I was sitting here and I said to Chris, this is what you call Bible study now. So all the things we've been doing in the church, we say we are going to Bible study. It's not actually Bible study. Because Bible study is for you to see and then now show other people how to see. Me, I've never seen this thing like this. Just like God is always this something. In fact, at a point you feel the way I was taught, I felt like I can never get to him. I can never relate to him. So when I was thinking of when Pastor Sunday made me to understand that personal relationship is the only way you can discover God, not through all those religious activities. Because personal relationship is like my dad, who is in Africa right now, I already know what his face looks like. Yeah. I already know what I can get from him and what I cannot get from him, and I already know that there are some things I can say to him in a way. I can't call him and be trying to get what he's expecting of me from him. So all those, I began to relate it that way, and then I began to see the practical picture of how important it is for me to build my personal relationship with God. So, but I never saw all this whole thing. So it's really a wonderful deliverance. But this deliverance is still only for those who are still searching for the truth. Because when people are not looking for that truth, the people have not actually defined why they go to church. That's why even on this platform, you will still see people write messages like, so which church are you suggesting that we should go to? Well, since all the pastors are bad, which one is good? Because themselves, they've never told themselves the truth. What is the reason you are going to the church? If the reason you are going to the church is because you want to find God, you want to love God, there are some, and the person is telling you that the quickest and the fastest route to it is your own personal relationship. And you are still asking which church do you, where is the good church to go? You have to first of all deliver yourself. If you can't deliver yourself, and because that's what happened to me, I was listening to Pastor Sunday and I was still going to church. So it's like when I listen to Pastor Sunday, he tells me a different thing, and I goes there, they tell me a different thing, and I'm like, it's like the more you go, the more you still put yourself in there, the more you are sowing the seed of confusion into your mind, because you have to detox all the wrong information, all the religious mindset that has already been built inside you for the new information, for the new mindset, or the new things you have learned to kick in, and for you to, before you will even go there to start looking for who to deliver. Because some people will say, oh, I've heard the truth, so when I go there, I will not go and start arguing with them. But you've not delivered yourself first. You have to sort yourself out first. Take out the log of wood in your eye before going to take out toothpick in another person's eye. That's what the Bible says. But we don't understand the importance of all these whole principles. But I pray and I believe that those that are watching us online will begin to, especially those that are just coming to spy in and spy out, they will dive in and dive out. They will use this opportunity to discover, from what they have seen this morning, to understand why everybody should go back to the drawing board. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, you can't believe it. How many slides have I done? Hello, where is the slide? We've only gone... What number of slide are we? 7, and we have 30, right? So I think I will have to let you go on break, right? And then 45 minutes? Oh, okay, then let's go. Oh, then we can still go. Okay, let's continue. So Genesis 1:6 says,
and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. We see forms of firmaments, waters.
So that's what we discussed. You already got that. Okay, go ahead.
Genesis 1:7, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. God created structure from the existing forms.
You people have gotten this already. So, I'm explaining the things you people have already gotten. Okay, go ahead.
Genesis 1:8.
You see?
And God said, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. We now have a system that we call heaven and earth.
You see? That's what you people got already. Go ahead.
Genesis 1:9-10. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called ye seas. And God saw that it was good.
Stop. So what is happening here? Now I have to ask you, what is happening here? Okay, read the answer. Let me see.
Now God started making order by putting structure on earth.
Okay, I want you people to now come out. Who will now come out and explain to me what is happening here? Where is the process of order here? Can you read the verses again so that people will tell me what is the process of order?
And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called ye seas. And God saw that it was good.
Okay, what's happening here?
Yeah. God is putting order.
What are you seeing here? Come tell me something. Give me the answers. Nobody can give me the explanation. Okay, Dr. Sufficient, or you want to do it?
Yeah. What God is doing here is that he's putting order to what he had done the previous verses. Because the previous verse...
Success wanted to come. Come close.
Because the previous verse, we saw that there was, God in the forms, God had several forms of water. And so the water that was under the heaven that was created, now God is putting order to it. So putting it together in one place, and then...
And what is the definition of order?
Definition of order is arrangements, proper arrangement of things.
Okay, so
God is putting order to what he had created, arranging them, putting it in one place. And that's what we refer to as proper arrangement. For example, those suits that you showed the other day that were properly arranged, putting it together in one place. So this is God putting order to what he had created in those previous verses. And then another thing was happening while he was putting order. Dry land began to appear. So this is not like he even created dry land, but through order, there was like the way you explained it the other day, that it was just 1/3 that was creation, but the other 2/3 was a product of order. So by gathering water together in one place, it was as though there was a creation of a new thing, which was dry land. So there was order actually being created, and that is how we got what we have today as earth, which is dry land, and then the gathering
separation.
Together. Yeah, separation.
Okay.
So demarcation
gave birth to another product.
But
that's not the end. Continue.
And then dry land appeared, and it was so. And then God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called seas. So here is how we have what we call the earth, which is what we have today, putting structures to what we have on the earth today. And then the gathering together of the waters he called seas.
But why is it that we are not talking about system here?
Here,
I'm complicating it for you.
Okay, why we're not having systems? Let me.
Can you see system here or not? Oh, okay, give me. You think? Meanwhile,
we do not have systems here because
beautiful. We do not have system here
because they are not interdependent.
Beautiful.
They are
categories. There is no motion.
There is no motion.
The processes are not interconnected and interchangeably. Okay, yes. Go ahead. But see what is happening here. Where is order here?
So in order to have orders, we must have categories of things.
Beautiful.
There has to be categories.
In order to have order, you must compartmentalize things. You must divide and separate and gather and group. Yes. The process of order must include division and separation. Okay, that's one.
Yes.
That's one thing. Go ahead.
So when God created the categories.
No, you have to read what you are explaining.
And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together onto one place.
So what is that?
That is a category of waters.
And that is also?
Order, structure.
Separation.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So that is separating onto one place. And then he commanded that let the dry land appear. That is another separation.
Beautiful.
And it was so.
And then you have to put in what Anu said here. As a result of separation, what happened?
As a result of separation, we have structure, a new product. Yes.
There is what you wanted.
Yes.
And then there is the
something else. There is a new product.
Else, but everything could be
in different categories.
Yeah.
Different.
And then you can have them as
names, different names. Yes.
And then create
a
different
new
products
from them,
from the original one that you had. Okay, yes. Good.
So by creating the separation,
yes,
he gave them names.
Yes.
So that was when he called the dry land, because in verse 9, the dry land had no name.
So why were you people shouting that it's Pastor Sunday, Pastor Sunday? Now that you see him now, now you are like Pastor Sunday. Is it? Yes. Your eyes are open. Where could they explain?
Now in verse 10, he called the dry land earth. That was, he gave it a name. And then gathering together of the waters.
He gave it a name, no. He gave it identity. That is identity. That is a branding process.
A product.
That is a product, branding of a product. And that is a process of identification. That's identity right there. Okay, go ahead.
So
don't just be saying he gave it a name. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. He gave it an identity.
Identity, yes. A face.
So we have the first identity, which is earth.
Yes.
And the gathering together of the waters called seas. That is another identity.
Now you are seeing. You see the progress? Now you are seeing.
So okay. it was when this happened, it went further and says, and God saw that it was good. So he critiqued what he had made, what he had produced.
Beautiful. And why was God saying it is good? People just think that is just it is good. It is not just a statement. That is a critical analysis of its own work. And what is that? It is good. What is it called? It critique. That is the process. But what was the product? What was the result?
Quality.
Quality control and assessment. He gave the assessment. And the assessment was what?
Excellent.
Excellent. Satisfactory. You know, don't just read stuff. Anything you read in the Bible that is written in the Bible, it's not for you just to read it. That's what children do. Children, for example, if you take a 5-year-old, 6-year-old child, it will just come and read it. And it was so. But adults shouldn't read like that. Adults should read like that. But from an adult, something more is expected. When a child reads that it said that there be this, and it was so, that is a child. You are not expecting anything from him, just the ability to read. But when he's an adult, that thing that is written, you must know is a trigger for you to think something. So whatever is written, when he said let there be this and this, then you have to stop and say, okay, what is that telling me? What am I seeing here? He said let there be, he gave instruction. Then what happened? There was a reaction. And then what happened? There was a structure. There was a form. There was a separation. You need to do analysis. That's why you are an adult. That's why you are not biomasses. But if you just read it, that's what is written there. So what was the difference between you and your 4-year-old? But as an adult, you need to answer, query and question, critical thinking. Societies and everything in life is based on critical thinking, questioning. So when you have to say, what does that mean? What does that demand of me? What does that tell me? If you're an adult, you must always, what does that tell me? What does that expect of me? How can I act on that? How can I reproduce that? What picture can that create in me? So it didn't say it was so. That is a whole thing there, it was so. That is giving you a lot of ideas. So analysis must be done. Critical thinking must be done. Assessment must be done. Evaluation must be done. Okay, go ahead, please.
So, and another thing I saw is the fact that even before they came to be, he had already had a mental picture.
You have to tell them what verse you are talking about.
Okay, so in verse 9, it says, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together unto one place, which is separation, and the dry land appear, and it was so. Before he said this, there was already a mental picture of what he wanted to create.
Beautiful.
So that was why he was able to do this.
Beautiful. There was light. That is the functioning. His ability to say is not just coming from nowhere.
Yes.
His ability to say, let this be this, let this be this, let this be this, is a function of something. It's a function of the greater light that we spoke about in the beginning. It is the greater light that informs him. Through what? Through picture in his mind. And how did the picture come? Order in the mind. That light in the mind created order in the mind. That it translated to picture. And it is those pictures that he is seeing from the mind that is pronouncing that we are seeing here. That is now creating physically. Go ahead, please.
And in verse 10, and God called the dry land earth, just earth. And the gathering together of the waters called he seas. So what I see here is the fact that if after he has separated and categorized, then every of those things even be like, for example, this, it wasn't just sea, it was seas. Yeah. So there was even further categorization yeah. of the seas. So each of them could have an identity as we have them in the world.
That's why
today.
you have seas,
yes.
You have oceans,
yes.
You have lakes,
yes.
You have, yeah, that's what it means. Because once he extracted the land, the ground, from the waters, they took shapes, different shapes. And that made him to, so he was doing one action, which is the extraction of land. He wanted to create land. I mean, he was bringing about land. He was not creating it, just subscribing. But through order, other products were being created. And other forms were forming. And those other forms were being getting, they were being branded into different identity and different products.
I wanted to highlight something from the "and it was so" part. I was thinking, would it be necessary for him to say it was so? Because he said, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. That was him doing something. But the "and it was so" is telling me that it's not just enough to say things. You must make sure you follow the process from the beginning till the end. Yeah. And make sure that the picture that you had in your mind, that mental picture, you see that it aligns with what you have seen.
What is coming out.
What is coming out.
Product. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Because
so this is a whole process. That is the process part of it. Because that's what people in Africa are not. They just want to end the result. But the process to make sure that everything you are seeing and what is coming out of your work is in perfect order. And that's what gives you excellence. And that's how you'll be able to produce quality products.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so now we continue. Now I see that you people are flowing with me better. You are now flowing with God better as well. So the most important thing that happens in these verses, Genesis 1:9-10, is God started making order by putting structure on the earth. Just walking on the earth, putting structure, is creating a lot of other products as a result. That thanks to order. Okay, now here we go.
Genesis 1:11-13. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed.
I want to see, maybe you people will be able to see what is happening here before the result, before I tell you what is happening. Let's see if you people will be able to come up with what is happening here.
And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruits, whose seed was in itself after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
Okay. Will you people tell me what's happening here? Or I should give you the answer, then you will better explain when I give you the answer. Should I just give you the answer, what's happening here?
No, let's try to think first. And
you want to try?
Yeah, let's try to
make it try. It's faster and it's easier if I give you the answer, then you'll be able to explain it. Okay. Let me give you the answer here. This is the answer.
We see the process of creation of the system responsible for reproduction of plants, grass, trees, fruits, seeds, and herbs.
Now you can explain. Let's now go back. You remember in the previous one where we were here, I said there was no system here. There was structure for things here. That was what's created. And success came and confirmed that, yes, there was no system here. But in this other one, what did I say we are doing here? What is happening? What is God doing here?
System of production.
Now, who will come and prove to me that what is happening here is not just structure, it's not just forms, it's not just processes, but it's all systems. And systems for what? Now, who will come and prove that to us?
All right. So, what I can see a new word that is coming here is, okay, let's start. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass.
Okay.
Yeah? Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind. Now, what is so loud here is whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. So what was God doing here? The earth that God created, that God gave an identity to, that's the land that is separated. Now, they began bringing forth products. So the land that he created, which he gave an identity to as the earth, started producing. So there was production happening on what he created. And so what were the products? The products were grasses, herbs, and trees. Now, because God is a God of system, he doesn't want to come and plant another tree, or plant another herb, or plant another seed. No. But what he did was, in every grass, in every herb, in every fruit tree, God built in the seed in each of them in such a way that he wouldn't have to create another tree. Meaning, from one tree that he created, he put the seed that would reproduce every tree of that kind. So if there was a mango tree, God didn't just create just one mango tree, and that was all. Because in that mango tree, God placed something in it that will keep reproducing it. And that exactly is what he said here, whose seed is in itself. And that's the idea behind reproduction, in every form of reproduction. For example, we understand that what makes a tree reproduce itself in several ways is that it has a seed.
Now, I'm going to stop you here. And what I'm going to stop you here is not that you are saying something wrong, but you are right. You are giving the right answer, but you are wrong.
Okay.
Giving the right answer, but you are wrong. Huh? Because the way, with the answer you are giving now, you would never be able to recreate it. Because you are telling me the end result. That is why I asked the question the way I asked the question. And what is the question that I asked? You don't remember?
The system.
Aha. The question I asked is about system. I don't want you to tell me result, but you are telling me result. But I want you to be able to see system. Because only after you see system, you'll be able to create system. But you are telling me what everybody will tell me in any church. That God put seed. And it is the seed. That's why the seed is reproducing itself. You are telling me about the seed. The seed is the result. But I want to let you see the result. I mean the system. What is system here? Do you want me to answer, or you want to explain all over again? Then I will tell you where you are. You can repeat yourself again, everything you are trying to explain. Then I will now tell you, don't touch the earth. We have finished the earth. But just start from here. Then I will tell you where you falter and where you need to.
All right. So verse 11 says, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruits after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So I was saying that from the product that God already had, which was the earth began producing. Okay. So there was another product that God was bringing from that earth.
Okay.
So what is the system I'm seeing right now? It is
now you are going back to system.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. Now at least you remember system now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is
but
that
initially when you spoke, you didn't talk about system.
No.
Okay.
So
you are going for the product immediately.
Yeah. So what is the system that I'm seeing here? It is that from each product that God was making, there was a continuum.
Okay. No. I think that you are going to go off. Let's have the three people. All of you can come. Don't worry. Just do anyhow you want to do it.
So what I see here is God is working smarter, not harder. So through all of these creations that he's making right now, he's allowing these processes to be independent so that he doesn't have to come back to it and he's not consumed with repeating the same process. Because as we proceed through this, through Genesis, we now see that after creating the earth, he now is able, because everything is self-sufficient, he's now able to create the most significant product, which is in turn humans, which is what we are. So, So because he was able to make all of these things self-sufficient, he now has that time to create mankind, which is what he does afterwards.
Okay, you've just...
through the processes and sequences.
What you have done is to describe to us what system is. You've just told us that God works by system. That's basically what you have said. And then he got experience, to do things by system. But I want to see system in what we are reading. Okay. Two of you are coming. You are saying you people should come here. Let him replace you now.
Okay, so what I'm seeing is in verse 11 it says, and God said...
Yeah, you might talk from here, yeah.
And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So for me, this verse is an instruction. I see that this is more God giving us the process, explaining what is supposed to happen, or giving us a system, actually, what is supposed to happen. And then in verse 12, it says, and the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So here we see the process, the system in action. In the first verse, we see that this was just theory. This is where God was saying, this is supposed to happen.
Okay, thank you. You've tried. But you are doing a good job. Okay, you want to finish?
Yeah, I want to add that the system that I see in so the pictures I have in my head is that first of all, there is grass that was spreading forth from the earth, outside of the earth. And then we have grass, yeah? So like a portion of grass, let's say. And then next to it, we have herb yielding seed. So we have a herb that is also growing out of the earth with seed in it. And
that's
then
verse 12, right?
That's verse 11.
Oh, okay.
Or it's verse 12.
Oh.
And then we have, sorry. And then we have the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself. We also have a tree yielding fruit coming out of the earth with the seed in itself. And because that seed, that tree yielding fruit grew with the seed in it and grew on the earth, it started the process of, what's it called? The process of
the system of automatic germination.
Yes, yes. And because that seed was on the earth.
The process of reproduction.
The process of reproduction, yes. And because the seed fell on the earth, it started all over again. So because of that seed lying on the ground, there was a connection.
Well, I see where you are going. But first of all, I have two issues with you. The first thing you started with when you came out, that's why I wanted you to go, because you didn't go right into what you are talking about now is closer to what I wanted to hear from the beginning. I would have liked you to start your speech with the last part rather than the first part.
Okay.
And then you still need time. You see, that's the way we should, and this is good. This is a good process. You are near and about, just like he was doing the first time. You are near and about, which is good. That's how we should be studying the Bible. You should sit on that scripture, like the 2 verses. These are just 2 verses. I sit on 2 verses like this for 2 weeks. That's how I come up with these things. I pray. I interact with the Holy Spirit. I want to see. I want to see. So that's what is going on through you right now. You are all around there. You know that there is something here. There is something here. But with the level of light that you have, it's not enough for you to be able to reproduce and create an island from this. But I can create an island from this, or a company from this, or an industry from this, or a church from this, or a town from this, or a city from this. Because it is like I got the full picture. But you are on the way. So, like I said, it could take me, what do you call it? What I said, the Spirit of God was what doing what? No, was illuminate. What it's not like the shaking does to the brood. Yeah, what do you call it? We call it another word. Brooding is the, the brooding. What is the synonym? Incubating. Yeah, incubating. Yeah, the incubation is going on in you now. You are incubating. That revelation is incubating. The process of incubation is going on. So that is a good thing. That is how you should read the Bible all the time. Every verse you read you should incubate it. Give it time. It could incubate for a few hours. It could incubate for a few weeks. But it's a good thing because that is it giving birth to itself. That is the word becoming flesh in you. And that's how you'll be able to create and be able to use it and apply it physically and in real sense. So it's a good thing. But let's hear what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 11 says, and God said, let the earth, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself, upon the earth. So the system I see in this verse is the earth itself bringing forth grass, herb, yielding seed, and fruit, and everything that is the vegetation. And God had already created the earth before. So what God had already created is bringing forth grass, is bringing forth herbs, is bringing forth fruit trees, is bringing forth. So God says, whose seed was in itself, and it was so. So now the earth, we have the earth which had been created before, which was a structure that God made, an order that God made, beginning to bring forth a new thing, which is vegetation, which is plant life. And the earth, and I think verse 12 confirms that, where verse 12 now says, and the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed, after its kind, and tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, after its kind, and God saw that it was good. So the earth which God had made by structure was now beginning to produce a new thing, which is plant life. And it's a system.
Okay, I think... All right.
You guys are talking too much. I don't understand anything. There's so many. But what I see is that God made a source, and the thing that creates, recreates itself has to be attached to its source, and that's the system, I guess.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But you have told me the system, but I need the system to be connected with the process. So thank you. That's a good way you did. Let's see what he will do. Now, success tried, but there is a mistake he made. Why he didn't quite get the answer fully. And I will explain it now. Let's hear what he...
Well, I just want to say, if you take away the grass, the herb yielding, and the fruit yielding fruit, just read the sentence. I say, and God said, let the earth bring forth upon the earth. So the earth is bringing forth back to itself, and the process is the yielding of the grass, the fruit, the herb. So basically, it's like in a circle. So the earth is bringing forth, but it's bringing forth back to the earth, and the process continues.
Beautiful, beautiful. Somebody can see that, right? Okay, good. But there is something deeper that you people are not seeing yet. Let's go.
What I see...
That's good. That, it's saw something new.
Yeah. What I think maintains the process is the seed.
Okay.
Because the process is there's ground, earth, which God has created and bringing forth grass and seed. And also at the same time, the seed is now actually bringing up herbs, which is according to its fruits. Is it? Yeah. No, seed. So it is the seed that maintains the process. That's what I can see.
Okay, then this was to say before I come up.
I want to walk back from the seed.
Okay.
So we have the seed, we have different seeds. And, okay, we have the seed. So we have different seeds here, which are basically different entities altogether.
Yeah.
They represent different things.
Different plants.
Different plants. So this already, if you connect them, they are all plants, so they are part of another system. And then you have the earth to which they are connected. So it's like it's different layers already. And then you connect it to the earth, the water, and everything. So a system is something that is interconnected, that works together as a whole.
Right.
So you have the seed, you have the plant, you have the earth, and then you have the rest of the creation. But they're all working together. So that is the whole system, as I said.
Thank you. Now, I guess I have to come to the rescue. Okay, let me come out. Let me come out to the rescue, I guess. So, Genesis 1:11 to 13. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, herb, grass, herb. Let's stop there. God said, let the earth bring forth these things. You are supposed to go back. Hello, don't be disturbing people all the time when I'm talking. Okay, let's start all over again. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, herb, etc. You people needed, this is what as success left out. You people always need to take every word serious. Every word is important in the Word of God, in the Bible. Every single word. Now, and God said, let the earth. That is a continuous. That process has started long before he said. So for him to say, and God said, let the earth bring forth something, where is that coming from? You people should answer me now. Where is that statement coming from? Is it just coming from the space? From where? No. That's not what you... Where is... Beautiful! From the picture, from illumination. Beautiful. So, you have to say, God is releasing another aspect of his preconceived or of his illuminated picture, the order that is already in his mind. He had already had an order in his head, which it came forth as a result of the light. That light has created order. And when light is enough, and when the order is in place, it results into what? Pictures. So the next picture that God wants to produce, he is only voicing out to us the next picture he is seeing. You have to see in his mind too. You have to start with him, where he is starting from. He is starting with his picture. You have to see that picture. But you came here and you are just telling me about the end result, what he's saying. Don't start with what you are hearing. What you have done, all of you have done, is that you are all starting commenting from what you had. You are not starting from where the whole thing started from. I don't know if you are getting me. You are only saying he said. And you are now repeating what he said. As if you are behaving as if you are just one of those regular people. But you have been taught by me today, yesterday. It didn't start from there. Anything you see outside, or you hear, or you know that is manifested, like these things have been manifested, or a plan, has first of all been nurtured, matured, or what do you call the egg and the incubated. You left out that one. You are supposed to start from there. That is the origin. The fact that God is saying it now, that is a result. of something. And that's where your creation will be able to start from. If you don't understand that, you will not be able to create it. You will not be able to reproduce the same thing. You will never be able to act like God. So for you to act like God, you must begin where God begins. And it begins from the light. The light which give birth to order. And when the order is in place, it results in picture. Everything must always start from that greater light. So these things are the pictures that he is seeing. That is the picture he is seeing. That is the picture he has already given birth to. That is the picture that he already preconceived. That is the result of the incubation. And that is the result of a hard work. That is the fundamental work. And that is the hardest part of our work with you. Our work with you has to start from there. Everything has to start with that light. Understanding. What is the light? Knowledge. Understanding. Illumination. Wisdom. It is when that process is completed, it becomes picture. Order. We put it in order. Or picture. But not just picture, vague picture. But order makes the picture clearer. Shortcut. But there is no picture anywhere. And no order anywhere if you don't start with illumination, with light, with knowledge, with understanding. It is that now becomes picture when the more light, the better the light, and the order you put it to it, the clearer you know what exactly will come forth. But that is not yet the system. That is just the beginning. But you must always start from the root. Always ask yourself, what is the root? Where is that coming from? Because that is what will allow you to be able to reproduce it. That's what I was trying to tell Julie when she was here. If you don't have a root, you are just commenting the result of somebody else. It's like Nigerians saying they're looking for electricity. That's what I was trying to tell you in the beginning. If you are looking for electricity, that's what somebody has already created. But look for the greater light. The source of electricity. What gives birth to electricity happens here. In the world of illumination. In the world of the mind. In the world of the incubation. And that's why you need all these books. That's why you need knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. You got that part? Now let's continue. So this is important. This must tell you something. God is not a chaotic God. He didn't just wake up and say, let's now do... No. He didn't just, okay, the next thing is... No. That is a result of a hard work. Which is a mental work. So, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass. That is he knew that from the beginning. He saw that picture a long time before he got here. Only this is the next place, according to the order he had in his mind. This is just the next stage. So he got to bring forth grass and the herb. Now, he said, all these things, so what he wanted to do is to produce grass and herb. This is the goal. But if he stops here, it means he will only do it one time. So for him not to come back and be planting grass and herb all the time, he now has to stop and think of a system to make it perpetual, continuous, and automated. So this is where I was correcting Anu, that Anu just went into seed and say, oh, it is because of the seed. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that it's written. That's what religious people will tell you. Oh, it is the seed that made it. But why? What was behind it? It was after he wanted to produce this. Then he has to stop and say, so what made him to think of seed? Because he doesn't want he doesn't want to be continuing to do it every time by himself. So he has to think about a technology that will make him hands-free and will make the thing continuous perpetual, which is what we call system. So why is that important? That you will make that difference. You will not just run to the seed, but you will see that process. What is happening in the mind of God, you have to see it. Why is that important for you? Because when you are creating your own system, you've got to get to a place like, okay, I created this light now. Now, how can I make it to put itself on when it's needed? You must be able to question yourself like that. It is that critical thinking, that questioning of self, that makes you to perfect a system, or that makes you to create not just a product, but to convert product into a process of production, a whole system of production. It's a company, a factory. It is, for example, this light now. Every time we need it, we have to put it on. But what we could do is that we could say, okay, I want to make it into a system. So I don't want to be putting it up all the time. So I now want to say, okay, what do I need to do to make it be putting itself on when it's necessary? Okay, then I could say, okay, let me do this. Okay, let me put a mechanism inside so that when anybody flashes across it or passes by it or appears in front of it, it goes on. But when the person leaves and goes back the other direction, it goes off. But whenever it passes, it goes on. That is how you create automated system. But if you don't ask yourself the question, you will never be able to be the one to create it. So here, when you say it brings forth fruit, grass, and fruit, you have to stop. This is the product, the initial product. Just like this light is the initial one. But because I want something more that will make my hands off, just like I want this light to be hands off, I say, okay, so I have the product now. So how do I make it hands off? When do I need it? I need it when, so be putting itself on, when somebody comes in. So that's what now informs me to go and create a mechanism whereby, it will be automated. The same thing here with God. He wants this grass. This is what he wants. But he doesn't want it just one time and in one place. He wants it to be perpetual. So he has to stop. This just doesn't come. He has to think. It's not just because it's God. He has to think it through. And come up with the solution, the optimum solution. That, this is the optimum solution. Let's put seed in every herb itself. And let's make sure that that herb in itself is always carrying seed. Now that seed will become the mechanism that will make it to always repeat itself. That is a whole ingenuity there. It is not just automatic, just so easy. Now, why is it that we should think about that? Because that is what will allow you to also, when you are creating anything, when you are forming anything, to ask yourself critical questions and to be able to make you modernize and adopt whatever you are making into any goal to meet any need that you want it to meet. That act of stopping, questioning, querying, asking yourself is important for you to be able to create systems. I don't know if people are hearing me. I know you are hearing me in your ears, but I'm not sure if you are seeing the picture I'm painting. Are you seeing it or you are not? Are you seeing it? Okay. So God has to stop and think of how to make this whole thing continuous, perpetual, repeated. So he came up with an idea of seed. But for us to understand what the seed is for, he doesn't need to explain it for us. But it is for us he's putting this word. If they have yielding seed, he knows what the seed is for. He knows what that means. But for us to know that this yielding is what will make it continuous, perpetual. This is description of the goal of this seed. It's not describing seed. It's describing the goal, the function of that, the mandate of that seed. And it is describing to us the goal, the reason behind the seed. That's what yield is. System. And the fruit, tree, the same thing. Now he wants to do fruit. That's another thing. That's another product entirely. This product, these two products are different from this product. So he has finished with the grass and the herb with seed. Seed will secure their perpetual production. Now we are going to fruits. See, every word is important. These are not just the same thing all at once. No, they belong in the same in different categories. Herb, seed, herb, grass. They are one category. The next category, now he has finished with on seed here. Now the next category is, and now the fruit. Tree. You see, they are now trees. Because herbs and grass are not trees. But here, the same principle will now work. It started with the simpler one. Now, the same principle will follow. When it comes to trees, also, it will be yielding fruit after its kind. But how? Whose seed is in itself. So the goal here, when it comes to trees and fruits, is also fruit is the goal. Fruit tree. Yielding fruit. The goal is fruit. Right? But after its kind, so that it wants earth to be producing fruit perpetually for us. He's thinking about us. He cares for us. But how? What is the mechanism to make it always yielding like that? He had implanted. This is like ships. If you are a computer person, this is where the idea of implantation of ships come from. You know ships? Computer ships, or what do you call it? Ships, yes. Microchips. This is the idea. This is where the idea of microchips come from. So anything you produce, think of microchips. This is where it's coming from. But where men have not gotten to, where we could get to ourselves, is that the microchip that they are producing now, it cannot be perpetual and forever. But the way God did it is that its microchip, which we call seed, is perpetual and forever. Because the microchip they're doing, you have to replace it after 10 years or after 15 years or after something, or you have to be country. But this is where the perfection of God comes in. You don't even need to install it with God. It's installed from generation to generation. So we give birth to a baby girl, that microchip, you don't need to go to the hospital to put it. The seed. The seed for her, because she's a girl, to become a mother, automatically is already, that's how the perfection of God is. And that's where we are moving to in technology too. So that by the time you are born, a Nigerian, you don't need to get passport. That microchip will be there. That is where man has never gotten to. But that is where the whole technological world is still aiming to get to. Just through this example. You people look like you are, I'd either have put you to sleep or you are just dazed. What is happening? Anyway, so the same thing, because it wants fruits, the seeds also will give birth to that. Whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. Then, verse 12 is just telling us that exactly what God, so God is controlling it to make sure that what is projected in his mind is exactly what he got, what he produced. So he said, and the earth brought forth grass, you see. What he projected is what he saw, an herb, yielding seed after his kind. So now that it's yielding seed after his kind, God can be at peace. Because he's producing exactly what he wants. Then the tree yielding fruit also. This is exactly what he looked forward to, and this is exactly what he got. Whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Even me, I can see that it is good. Because it's exactly the duplication of what this is the picture and the goal and the dream, and this is the manifestation, and that's why God could give you the clearance certificate. Huh? What? NAFDAC number. And the evening and the morning were third day. What does that mean? The whole earth, the process of the earth is going to function. And since the earth is functioning day, it means these things are functioning. They are all wrapped up in day. So forever, as long as there will be evening and day, these things will be producing. I don't know. Where did I help you? Or I didn't help you anyhow? Come on, as comment on what you got now after my comment. Or you didn't get anything. Nothing changed. Or something, or there is illumination or clarity or better understanding. Anybody come and tell us. Take the microphone, quick, because we are going for break now.
For me, I think my light bulb moment was like what you corrected me with. And because when you said I'm right and wrong, I was confused. Yeah, but then I realized that what I missed out actually was going back to the picture to know that this is not just instantaneous. It didn't just appear, but it's a product of what he already had in his mind. It's already a preconceived idea, of which, for me, I knew that the seed was a major stuff, but I was more focused on what he had already produced, not knowing that it wasn't just about the product, but about what has been preconceived in his mind. And how I can apply that is that God is such a God of order that what we are seeing here is what he had already finished. You know, when we say that God, before he starts a thing, he ends it. So now it's really making sense to me that before God is the Alpha and Omega, so before he got to this stage where the earth finished it, he had already finished it. And so he's going back to the vision he had and everything he had in his mind. Not just wanting the result, not just getting to where it is. So that for me was like, don't just look at what the results that people have or that things are happening, but make sure you go to where is it coming from, the origin. Okay. So that. I know
that person got a clearance for himself.
Yeah. I think for me, like you just clarified it, and the light bulb moment for me was the word yielding. Because I thought about it, but the reason I didn't say it because I was seeing the seed and the yielding as one whole component.
That's why I said every word is important. Every word.
Yeah. One and the same, but from your clarification is like the seed, it's a component on its own. The herb is a component on its own, but it's the yielding that is the process that enables the seed to come back again and again and again. And especially when you made the example of the microchip, it makes sense because I'm into IT. Okay. So basically, the microchip is a component, but the process or the ability for it to yield. To come again and again is not there. But that is what God built into his own seed. And it keeps coming back and back again.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's why the yielding makes this one superior
to
microchip.
We don't have yielding.
We don't have the yielding.
Yielding, I was seeing it as just a word. But it's not just a word. It's
a
component. It's a mechanism. It's
the reason why we cannot do a sheep right now that will make every Nigerian to be born a Nigerian is because we don't have the yielding. The reason why God is able to make a girl that is 1 year old, 2 year old, 1 day old, and you know that girl will be pregnant one day, that girl will be able to have children in her one day, is the yielding. But that's what man cannot get to right now. But we as children of God can get there. If we can see it like this, we could begin to work on that and begin to build systems. Maybe not for quite human, but for robots. And for things like that, you know, one could begin to do that. And that is how inventions come about. That is how being a friend of God and being a Bible believing and Bible reader could make you to be ahead. That's why I wrote the book, How to Raise the Next Generation of Steve Jobs and Steve Jobs. That's what I was explaining there in that book. That if we read fellowship with the Spirit of God, if you know the Spirit of God, and we read the Bible the way I'm doing now, you will be getting ideas. Right now, I'm giving out ideas on how to create a perpetual microchip that will be yielding, just like a woman does, just like plants do, that even they cannot even think about right now. But because we see it here, somebody can already begin to work on it. Maybe it will come out in the next 50 years, but that's how people get Nobel Prize something.
Wow, I'm
I know that person wanted to explain to us what became clearer to him. Nobody? Okay. If there's no one, then we have to finish on that. And that is where we are finishing right now. And I will come back in the evening, but in the afternoon you have a teacher, right? Okay. Dr. Arams, okay, Dr. Arams. Okay, so Dr. Arams Aigbe will be here in the next 1 hour? Or when? In the next 45 minutes. In the next 45 minutes. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. It was nice being with you.